Howdy ho, everyone. I am not sure if you saw, but I did this for like 15 minutes and realized I had put in the wrong information. So we are starting brand new. Hello, welcome. My name is Lacey Jane. I am the person behind Criminally Confident, and I appreciate you spending some time with me today, whether you are watching live or on replay. I am very appreciative. If you are not already subscribed to my channel, please do that. It's free. If you haven't done so already, please hit the like button. That really helps the algorithm and puts this in front of some people that may be interested in it and haven't discovered my channel yet. So what we are going to do, we are going to start where we sort of left off. And by that, I mean, we are going to start with the same witness. But yesterday, when I ended the stream, that witness was still laying foundation for the jury. And it was like tedious, and it felt like stuff that you guys wouldn't be interested in rather. So I have found, I have fast forward to the part where they are getting ready to testify about the pictures. You guys will just have to see. So hi Jen Thunder, welcome. Welcome. All right, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. I did want to show off. I made from scratch onion dip, and I'm very proud of it. There we go. And it is to be eaten with kettle chips, like fresh kettle chips. So I might snack on that a little bit later. And if you see me running out of the room at any point, my dog had a medical emergency today, so I have to tend to him, and he is extremely drugged up. So yeah. Thanks, Jen. It's delicious. It's same recipe as a place in Columbus, Ohio called Club 185. Don't know if you've heard of it. It's to die for. Super good. All right, guys. Let's get to it. If you have any questions, like I said, let me know. Riley's okay. I didn't mention that part. I'm sorry. I should have left off with that part. He's okay. He is gonna just have to take it super easy, not go up and down the stairs. So that's gonna be, one of those things. But I'd much rather do that than him not be okay, because he's my whole world. He's 14 years old. He's an old man. Okay, guys, let's go. Oh, please hit the subscribe and like buttons. Okay, love you. Bye. Wow.
Please be seated. The record will show the presence of the jury, the defendant, and all counsel. You may proceed.
Heather Connor. Let's take a look at exhibit number 1. I don't believe the monitors are on.
Yes.
What are we looking at here?
This is the front of the house.
And the exposure of the house, what direction is towards my pen this way?
Thanks for stopping by.
Okay, wouldn't it be that way, north that way, rather than this way? Isn't it south? Let's continue looking at it, okay? Exhibit number 2. What is that?
That is another view of the front of the house showing the front door,
And it also shows a closer up of what?
the vehicles that are parked in the garage and driveway.
And how many are there?
3 total.
And exhibit number 3. What are we looking at there?
That is a photograph of the front door entry and the numbers of the residence.
And what's the address of the residence?
11428
And what's the
Huh.
Queensboro.
exhibit number 4? What do we see there?
That is a photograph of the open garage door view into the garage and the 2 cars in that garage.
What kind of car is this? Do you know?
A Toyota Prius.
Is anyone else having issues hearing this? Josh said that the volume seems extremely low. I can't see anything on my end on how to fix that. And I'm not like RA. I don't have like a huge volume or like audio setup. I'm just learning how to like equalize things. So one step at a time, right? But yeah, please let me know. I'm sorry.
Color, given how glary this photograph is. What color was it when you were out there? Do you know?
I believe it was black.
Okay.
Exhibit number 5.
The rear of that Toyota Prius.
Okay. If you then look over here to the right, do you see what that is?
That is a doorway leading from the garage into the laundry room of the residence.
Then, and this right here is what?
It appears to be a garage door opener.
Okay, and this right here?
I don't know what that is.
Are you familiar with light switches?
Yes.
Does that look like it could be a light switch?
Are you familiar with the
It
light
appears to be.
switch?
And then if we just shows us the rest of the garage and what's here, correct?
Yes.
And do you know what this is?
A bicycle.
Okay.
Does he hate her? Like,
Exhibit number 6 is what?
That is a view, a view of the laundry room. That includes the washer and dryer that were inside that room.
And this door here, where does that lead to?
That door leads to the garage.
And if we take a look at exhibit number 5, you see this door here?
Yes, I do.
Are those one and the same doors?
They are.
Exhibit number 7 also shows us a door. Are you familiar with which door this one is?
I believe that is the same door we've been discussing from the laundry room to the garage.
When you say you believe, it sort of implies that you're not sure. Take a look at it. And then if we take a look at exhibit number 6, you see that same door?
Those are the same doors.
And is this then the door that leads out to the garage?
Yes, it is.
And what is this up here?
An alarm keypad of some kind.
Take a look at some more photographs. Take a look at exhibits 8 through 16. Do you recognize those photographs?
Yes, I do.
What do they depict?
These photographs depict the washing machine and the contents of that washing machine.
Again, were these photographs taken at the time of the investigation back in June 2008 of this home?
Yes, they were.
I move for the admission of exhibits numbers 8 through 16.
Exhibits 8 through 16 are admitted.
First of all, let's take a look at exhibit number 6. That's the one that we just talked about. And what is this right here?
That is a dryer.
And this right here?
Washing machine?
All right. Exhibit number 8 shows us what? What are we looking at here?
That is a reddish stain that was on top of the edge of the washing machine.
Exhibit number 9, what are we looking at there?
Looking at the same area of the washing machine, pulled back a little bit with some labels, some stickers to label and identify some stains seen on the washing machine.
Are these the reddish stains that you guys were looking at, or just stains generally?
Reddish brown stains.
There's a red number on there. You see that? I'm sorry, black. You see that?
Yes.
I thought in our previous discussion, we indicated that if it's something that you can't seize or that you take a swab from, that you actually would give it a letter. What's going on with these ones in black?
These particular stains were labeled by a member of the biology unit so that presumptive testing could be performed. I wasn't involved in these labels.
So in other words, these are labeled by somebody from the biology unit to see whether or not this was blood or something, right?
Correct.
Exhibit number 10 is a close-up of one of those ones, correct?
Yes, it is.
And if we bring it in a little bit closer, it has something to the side of it. You see that?
B.
I do.
What is that?
The letter B.
So for example, then, if we go to the previous exhibit, there are 2 ones there. One would be either, well, we can look at it. We can see that they're labeled with letters also, correct?
This one is yes.
And then if you take a look at the other one, doesn't seem to have a letter on there, though, right?
It does not.
She's
Exhibit
gonna
number
cry
11,
over
what do we,
that.
give you a better view of that. What are we looking at there?
That is a photograph into the washing machine when the lid was lifted during the entry photos.
And there are some items in there, correct?
Yes, there are.
This is exhibit number 12. What are we looking at there?
That's a digital camera that was found inside of the washing machine.
And for the sake of completeness, is this the way the camera was at the time that you guys went into it and started taking photographs of it?
Yes, it was.
And you were there on what dates?
June 10th, 11th, and 12th, and it ran into the 13th on the 12th.
All right. Exhibit number 13. What are we seeing here?
That is another photograph of the contents of the washing machine, now with those evidence placards that I discussed to identify items that were going to be collected.
Right? 39 is what?
39 is all of the contents of the washing machine with the exception of the camera.
So this is all the clothing articles, and 38 is the camera.
That's correct.
And exhibit number 14? Is that just a different view of how the items are placed in there?
Yes, it is.
In just looking at this, and you were there, and that's the reason why I'm asking, it doesn't seem like this is a full load, does it?
It didn't appear to be full, no.
Okay. Sewer.
Exhibit number 15, what are we looking at?
Him. Whoever.
That is a photograph of the camera after it's been removed from the washing machine
Weird
and placed on butcher paper in
question.
order to take additional vantage viewpoints of that camera.
And exhibit number 16 is what?
The top view of the camera.
Let's take a look at exhibit number 14.
No, thank you. This is a
Wow.
digital camera.
Hear all that.
Digital camera that we see pictured in exhibit number 16.
May I refer to my report, Your Honor, in order to refresh my recollection?
Yes, May.
I agree. Yeah, take a look at exhibit 276 and see if that looks well.
This is the same camera that is depicted in the washing, that was collected from inside the washing machine.
But inside of that plastic is something else inside the camera, right?
Yes,
Do you know what that is?
looks like power cords of some kind.
Right, but as far as you're concerned, the only thing that was taken from that washing machine is the camera that's in that exhibit, correct?
Yes.
Let me have that. Judge, I would move for the admission of exhibit.
This is the Jodi Arias case. She is during this on trial for murdering a guy that she had been seeing or not seeing. You kind of just have to watch.
You know whether or not there was a SIM card attached to this thing?
There was a memory card inside the washing machine that was also collected.
Please take a look at exhibit number 215.
Great.
You recognize that?
Thanks for
Yes.
being here.
This is the memory card that was collected from inside the washing machine
And the one that actually packaged it, I guess, correct?
when it was originally in the envelope, yes.
I move for the admission of exhibit 215.
No objection, Your Honor.
215 is admitted.
Exhibit 215. And what we're actually looking at is this square or rectangular blue thing, correct?
Yes.
It's not. Do you know the dimensions of this? Or is it just very small?
It's small.
Let's take a look at exhibit number 220. You recognize that?
Yes, I do.
What is it?
This is what I labeled as a digital camera door that was found at the bottom of the washing machine and was collected.
Was this after the clothing had been removed?
Yes.
I move for the admission of exhibit number 220.
No objection, Your Honor.
220 is admitted.
She has a lovely voice.
And then this is the item that you collect right here, correct?
Yes, it is.
Let's take a look at exhibits. Through 25. You recognize what's in the photograph?
Yes, I do.
What do they show?
They show the items that were removed from the washing machine as item number 39 laid out. It also shows additional items of evidence that were identified to be collected with evidence placards and the contents of the dryer.
With regard to item 39, what was that?
That's all the clothing items that were in that washing machine.
Okay. I move for the admission of exhibits numbers 17 to 25.
No objection, Your Honor.
Exhibits 17 through 25 are admitted.
I almost ended the stream. Whoops. Oh, that's why my ears hurt. They're
Go ahead and take a look at these. Exhibit number 17 You see the placard 39. What is this up here?
It's a towel,
Right? And directly underneath it, where are those?
socks.
And to the left?
Those are also socks.
It does seem
Revolutionary.
that- You see this part up here on the towel?
I do.
It does seem that the towel is a bit discolored, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Exhibit number 18. Is that the same towel?
Yes, it is.
And it shows this other end here, right? What is this right here?
It's a t-shirt or a shirt of some kind.
Do you know what this is right here? I know the glare is bad, but
I don't recall specifically the particular clothing items that were contained.
and exhibit number 19. Do you know what these are right here?
Underwear,
And this,
another shirt.
and these right here.
They appear to be shorts.
Take a look at exhibit 216. You recognize this? Here.
Heard that.
They appear to be all those items in the photographs.
Yeah, here in the, Scissors, why don't you go ahead, open it up, take a look at what's in there, and then tell me if this is in fact item, your item 39.
Oh, never mind. I was gonna ask Josh for something, but I found it. Found it all on my own.
Yes, this is item 39.
I move for the admission of exhibit 216.
No objection.
Exhibit 216 is admitted.
Let's take a look at it. This has some spots on it, right?
Yes, it does.
Are you familiar with what bleach is?
Yes, I am.
What is bleach?
It's a liquid that we use to clean clean various things.
And do you know what bleach does to an item that has color to it?
It will take that color out and cause spotting.
With regard to the towel, is that consistent with bleach being added to the load?
Objection, also speculation.
You may answer yes or no, overruled.
Yes.
Take a look at the. What is that?
A t-shirt,
You know what size it is on it?
marked medium.
And does it also have some spotting there?
Yes, it does.
Let's see what else we have.
Where was he shot?
Those are the shorts or underwear.
Yes.
What else is there?
Though, oh, those are like Mormon underwear.
What are those?
Pair of shorts,
Let's see what else we have in that thing. What is that?
a t-shirt,
Let's start with one sock. You have a blue sock in your left hand, right?
yes.
Okay, next. What color sock is that?
Mostly gray,
Does it have any spotting on it?
yes, it does.
All right. What else? What is that?
A black sock,
Go ahead. Another sock? All right, what else?
Think we might be able to pull off a two.
it is,
All right. Another sock?
yes.
And?
Another sock,
And that's also another sock, right?
yes, it is.
Are those all the articles that go together?
No, they're not.
What else? What is that?
This is a pair of pants,
Are you familiar with the term sweatpants?
yes.
Is that what that is?
Yes.
What size are they?
They're marked men's large.
Anything else in that bag?
This guy is such a prick.
And what is that?
A t-shirt,
And what's the size of that t-shirt?
large.
Probably have that. Probably have that.
He's just not nice to her. He was nice to the other witnesses, just her. He's like so mean to her.
Let's take a look at another exhibit. It's exhibit number 20. And if we take a look at, first of all, exhibit 37, what is that? Or item 37, not exhibit 37, I apologize.
That is the memory card that was originally in the washing machine and then was collected as item 37.
And what was the color of that memory card?
My recollection is blue.
And then we have some numbers here, 40 and 41. First of all, this appliance to the right is a what?
That's a dryer.
And now we have a close-up, exhibit 21, of those items as in relation to the dryer, correct?
Yes.
And what is item 40?
40 is a piece of duct tape that was found on the floor in the laundry room.
And exhibit 22 shows us a close-up of that, right?
Yes.
Exhibit 23 is the SIM card that we've been talking about, right?
Yes, it is.
And exhibit 24 is a close-up of that, right?
Yes.
Now, exhibit 25 are a bunch of items, right?
Yes, it is.
And they were in the dryer. Do you know what was in the dryer?
Bedding items.
Do you have the exhibit up there that will tell you what was in there?
Yes, I do. I have it labeled as bedding items.
Bedding.
Exhibit 36 through 28. I apologize. 28 through, let's do it this way, 27, 28, 29, 30, and 26.
Let me pull this up.
Yes, I do. Those are photographs of the items from inside the dryer, as well as a photograph of them inside the dryer.
And are these direct depictions of those items back when the investigation was conducted in June 2008?
Yes, they are.
I move for the admission of exhibits numbers 26 through 30.
No objection, Your Honor.
Exhibits 26 through 30 are admitted.
Take a look at exhibit 26. What are we looking at there?
That is a view of the contents of the dryer and the items that were going to be collected as item 41.
Exhibit number 27, what are we looking at here?
That is a overall photograph of all of the contents of 40 of the dryer that were collected as 41 laid out separated.
And exhibit 28. What are we looking at here?
A portion of the contents of the dryer.
30, I'm sorry, 29.
Those are additional contents of the dryer.
And finally, number 30, what is that?
That is also something removed from the dryer.
Take a look at exhibit number 12.
Yes, I recognize this. This is the all the contents of the dryer as collected as item 41, I believe. Excuse me, it is item 41.
Do you need more gloves?
If we're going to put them on, I'd like some additional gloves, please. Would you like me to have this open entirely?
Just enough so that I can pull the item out. What is that?
Pillowcase?
All right, what else we have?
Is it all right to lay them directly on the desk as I pull them out, or would you like them put back in the bag?
You don't have to go over and see it, how about that?
Right.
And what is that?
A pillowcase?
Right, yes. And that?
Another pillowcase?
That is what?
A towel?
What are those?
A pair of pants?
Do they have size on them?
Yes, they do.
Okay, what size is that?
Size large.
What is that?
An additional pillowcase?
And that?
Okay.
It's another pillowcase.
Is that the last item?
No, it's not.
What is that?
This is a bed covering of some sort with buttons. So
What else is in that? Exhibit. What is that?
a fitted sheet.
Anything else? What is that?
A flat sheet.
Oh, that's nice. I'm in Ohio. It's really bright, but it's super cold and lots of snow on the ground.
31 to 46.
Also, I DM'd you. Just so you know.
And you
Yes, I do. These are photographs of a portion of the downstairs of the house to include the laundry room, office, and downstairs bathroom, as well as items inside those rooms.
And are these two depictions of the scene that existed back in June 2000?
Yes, they are.
I thought I saw a body.
Exhibits 31 through 46 are admitted.
Start with exhibit 31. And what are we looking at here?
That is another view of the laundry room from the vantage point of the doorway leading into the garage in the corner.
What is this door here? Is this door leading to the garage, or is that the door leading somewhere else?
That door leads into the house, further into the house.
And exhibit 32, what is this?
That is the view into the laundry room through that doorway that we just discussed.
Where is the doorway leading to the garage in this photograph?
If you were to enter through that doorway, it would be to your right.
33. This area here, what is this back here?
That's the laundry room.
And what's to the left here, do you know?
There is a closet and a doorway leading to an office space,
And to the right here, what's there?
a bathroom.
Do you know what this item is here? If you know.
It looks like a punching apparatus of some kind.
Apparatus.
Exhibit 34, first of all, in the corner, what is this right here?
That's the doorway leading from the house into the laundry room.
And this right here?
That is the entryway into the office space.
Exhibit 35. First of all, we look, what is this right here?
The laundry room,
And here?
the office space.
Exhibit number 36. What is that?
That's the view of the office space from the doorway.
Exhibit 37 is what?
A different view in the office space from a different corner of the room.
Exhibit number 38. What are we looking at there?
That is the desk in the office space, and there are items marked with evidence placards in that photograph.
This up here, what is that up here? Do you see that white item there?
It's a closet door.
I'm sorry, exhibit 39. What do we see here?
That is a photograph of the item that was collected as item 35LB, and it's a check.
Take a look at exhibit number 222. You recognize it?
Yes.
What is it?
This is the box, including the check that was collected as item 35.
Move for the admission of exhibit 222.
No objection.
Exhibit 222 is admitted.
Awesome. As you can see, it's a baby.
Look at that. First of all, what is the date on it?
5/25/08,
And what's the amount of the check?
200.
And who's the person? What's the account? What's the name holder on the account?
Jodi Arias.
It does have an address. Can you read that address or not?
I can.
What is it?
9634 East Nido Avenue, NIDO, Mesa, Arizona, 85209-2243.
And the person that it's made out to?
Travis Alexander,
And what's the amount of the check? Or-
200 cents.
And what is it for? Can you see what that's for?
The note section indicates car payments - April and May 2008.
And is it signed? Yes or no?
Yes.
Exhibit number 40 is what? What are we looking at here?
That's an additional view of a different corner of the office space from a different vantage point.
Exhibit 41, what do we see here?
That's the final corner of the office space, and you're seeing the entry doorway from where the photographer's standing.
If we were to take a right, where would we be headed towards?
Out the door,
Right.
you'd be headed towards the living area and kitchen if you went to the right,
If we were to go left, where would we be going?
the laundry room.
Exhibit number 42 is what?
That's a photograph of the downstairs bathroom from the doorway,
Is that straight across from that door that we just saw?
essentially straight across, maybe a bit to the left and across.
And exhibit 43 shows us what?
Another view of the inside of that downstairs bathroom.
Exhibit 44, what are we looking at there?
That is a labeled stain that was tested by our biology unit.
And that has number 3 by there, right?
Yes,
Exhibit 45 is what?
that's a view of a stain, a reddish brown stain inside of the sink in that downstairs bathroom that was tested by the biology unit.
And exhibit 46 shows us what?
That's a close-up of the stain from inside the sink of the downstairs bathroom.
Let's take a look at exhibits 47 through 61.
Definitely not having an issue going at 2 times speed. Still getting all the content, understanding what they're saying.
These are photographs of the remainder of the house, the downstairs portion of the house, the staircase leading to the loft upstairs, and the stairway itself.
Again, these are depictions of when you were out at the scene back in.
Yes, they are.
Look at the initial exhibit 47 through 61.
No objection, Your Honor.
Exhibits 47 through 61 are admitted.
Yeah, here's exhibit 47. Okay, what are we looking at here?
That's a view of the dining room, living room area, and the hallway that led down to the office space, laundry room, and downstairs bathroom in the far portion of the photograph.
And what is this right here?
It's that punching apparatus that was in near the hallway.
Apparatus.
48?
That's a view of the front door from that dining room, living room area.
Where's the laundry room door from here?
It would be to my left, where your pen is leading. Yes, that direction.
And I guess we'll ask about this 48. What's this right here?
A floor cleaner of some kind.
49?
That's a view of the entry room and the front door.
And what are these items here? Do you know?
They're metal grids of materials that are linked together by those round pieces.
Why?
Exhibit number 50 is what?
You're seeing a view of the kitchen from the area that had the couches near the dining area.
Okay. And what's this right here?
That's the staircase.
Exhibit 51. Do we see that same staircase?
Yes.
Is that right there?
Yes, it is.
Exhibit 52. What are we looking at there?
That's a view from the hallway that you would enter from the front door, looking into the dining, kitchen, living area, and the beginning of the staircase.
And these things right here, what are those?
Those metal grids similar to what was shown in that entry area.
Those are not aligned in any way, right? In other words, you're not put up.
No.
Exhibit 53. Now what are we looking at?
You're seeing a view down hallway towards the laundry room, office space, bathroom, as well as a portion of the staircase to show their relationship to each other.
And this is the staircase right here.
Yes, it is.
Exhibit 54 shows us what?
That is a view of the staircase and what you see from the bottom of the staircase.
Exhibit 55 is what?
A view from about halfway up the stairs, slightly more perhaps.
Exhibit 56 is?
That is showing a small possible fiber piece of fabric that was collected as an item of evidence.
Exhibit number 57. That is what?
That's a close-up of that item that was identified as an item of evidence and collected later on.
Now number 58. What are we looking at here?
That is a view from a corner of the loft that is at the top of the staircase. It's showing the area where the staircase ends and the entry into the master bedroom.
And is this a master bedroom?
Yes.
Exhibit number 59.
That is showing a black bag that was identified as an item of evidence to be collected in the loft.
familiar with exhibit number 231?
Yes, I am.
What is it?
This is the item that I collected as item number 24 LB. It's the doorknob from the right door of the master bedroom double doors.
I move for the addition of exhibit number 231.
Any objection?
None, Your Honor.
The order is admitted.
Exhibit and describe the locking and unlocking mechanisms of this door. Appliance.
The unlocking mechanism is a key hole.
Okay.
The locking mechanism is a flat piece that's turned.
Which one was on the inside and which one was on the outside of that door?
The inside was the locking mechanism, which has the flat piece that turns, and the exterior doorknob was the one that has the unlocking key mechanism on it.
So in order to get into that room, if it had been locked on the inside, would a person need a key?
Yes.
And in order to lock it, if you were inside, would a person need a key or would they just need to turn it off? Or
A key would not be necessary.
so does that mean that the person could just turn the little knob there or up or whatever and close it from the inside?
Yes.
Exhibit 231. The item that we're looking at here, is that the inside or the outside?
It was the interior doorknob.
And you're talking about turning, this is what you're turning, correct?
Yes.
I like it. And this portion of it right here, is that the inside or the outside?
That was the exterior side of the doorknob.
And that's the one that required a key, correct?
Yes.
Exhibit number 60 is what? What are we looking at there?
That is a closer view of that black bag from the loft that was collected as item 31 LB.
And exhibit 61. What is that?
That's the view of the contents of that black bag.
Take a look at exhibit 213. Do you recognize it?
Yes, I do.
What is it?
This is the black camera bag that was collected as item 31 LB.
All right.
No objection.
213 is admitted.
You want gloves for this or not?
I prefer left, yes.
I'll get a point.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
And open it up, place it on the outside.
Just a strap. A lens attachment of some kind. That appears to be everything.
Let's take a look at exhibits 62 through 72. You recognize those?
Yes, I do.
Where are they?
These are photographs of the entry into the master bedroom itself, the master bedroom closets, and a portion of the bathroom in the master bedroom.
Exhibits number 62 through 72.
Are we going to get some grotesque imagery here?
Council exhibits 63, 64, and 68 have already been admitted.
Yes, sir. No objections to those photos previously not admitted being admitted.
All right, 62 through 72 will be admitted.
I wonder if the microphone just picked up all my bones cracking.
Let's take a look at photograph just 62. And what are we looking at here?
That is the view into the master bedroom from the doorway.
And we've taken a look at the lock or the door handle, haven't we, before?
Yes, we have.
Exhibit number 65 shows us what?
A view of the bedroom, the master bedroom,
Specifically what?
the bed, and one of the sides of the bedroom.
In this one, we see that the bedding, if you will, is crumpled up on the bed. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
Is that the way the bed was found when you were there?
That was how it appeared when I was there, yes.
66 shows us what?
That's another view of the bed from the opposite side and more of the bedroom itself.
And what is this right here?
That is a doorway leading, one of the doorways in the master bedroom closet.
So where does it lead to? Is there more than 2 doors from the bedroom going into the bedroom closet?
No, that's the doorway from the bedroom to the closet.
All right. Exhibit 67, what are we looking at there?
That is a view from inside the master bedroom of that doorway from the bedroom to the closet, the entryway to the hallway that leads down to the bathroom, and the door into the master bedroom.
Exhibit 69 shows us what?
That is a view of the interior of the master bedroom closet from that doorway from the bedroom into the closet.
And what is this right here?
That is a doorway leading from the master bedroom closet into the master bathroom.
While you were there, did you notice whether or not there was any blood in this area here in the master bedroom closet?
I did not see any blood in that area or blood staining.
And if it had been there and marked, would you have photographed it?
What was the objection?
It's outside your scope.
Overruled. You may answer.
Can you please repeat the
If
question?
there was a stain that was marked there, would you have photographed it?
Yes,
And were you the person that actually looked for these stains or not?
I was not.
But you would have photographed anything that was marked there, correct?
Yes.
Sorry,
Number 70?
guys.
What do we see here?
That's a deeper view into the closet from that same vantage point, showing some of the contents.
And this right here?
That is the doorway leading into the master bathroom from the closet.
And if we look down here, what's this area here?
Carpeting inside the closet,
Okay, and this right here?
that's tile in the bathroom.
Exhibit 71, if we start at the top, what are we looking at here?
That is a view into the master bathroom from the doorway in the closet leading into the bathroom.
And this right here is what?
Oops.
Carpeting,
And right here?
tile,
And then if we go back here, what is this area here?
the vanity and sinks from within the master bathroom.
And this right here, what is that?
A door for a linen closet inside the master bathroom.
And this hallway that we've been talking about, take a look at exhibit number 67, told us about this hallway here. We take a look at the exhibit number 71. Where would the hallway be in relationship to this door? Say,
To the right.
we'll be right down this way.
That's correct.
Exhibit 72, starting here, what is this right here?
That is the door and doorway that is leading to the master bedroom closet.
And this right here is what?
A portion of that hallway we've discussed.
That what? I didn't hear- I didn't
The
catch-
hallway that we discussed.
Okay. And this right here is what?
The door for the linen closet that's in the master bathroom.
Where does this hallway lead?
To the master bedroom.
And if we take a look at exhibit number 67, is this what you're talking about, the hallway that we just discussed?
Yes, it is.
And this right here is,
The bathtub in the bathroom.
and right here,
That's the shower.
and this,
That's the victim inside of the shower.
and this greenish, bluish.
I believe it's a robe.
I don't buy it. Her being the it.
Take a look at exhibit 76 through 80, 82, through 87.
I started taking a hair supplement and just realized I forgot to take it today. So if you see me taking a pill right now,
These are photographs of the victim, additional photographs of the bathroom, and some items from inside the bathroom.
Again,
Oh.
they existed back in June of 2008.
Yes.
put it.
With the addition of exhibit 77 through 80, 80 through 87.
There it is. They want you to take like 4 of these a day. They're the Nutrafols.
No objection, John.
Exhibits 77 through 87 are written today.
I'm just starting with one. Uh-oh. These must be gnarly photos because she's putting on the dramatics.
Exhibit number 76. What are we looking at there?
That's a photograph of the victim inside of the shower and a plastic cup that was found in the shower with the victim.
Was he drinking?
30.
Yes, I do.
What is it?
This is that plastic cup from inside the shower.
It looks kind of black or dark. Is that mold or what is that?
This item was
Pardon
processed in the
me.
laboratory for lady tricks.
And you indicated that there was a couple of processes that could be used, one of them being powder and the other one being crystal white, correct?
Those were types of processing that we do at a scene.
Right, yes. And this one, powder was used, right?
This item was brought back to the laboratory and was processed with a variety of different things.
And writing was also taken?
I mean, refer to my reports. No, no latent prints were developed on the plastic cup.
One of the things that you told us is that there were environmental factors that affect whether or not an individual leaves a latent fingerprint. You remember we discussed that earlier?
Yes, I do.
With regard to water, if water is run on an item, will that affect the ability to later obtain a latent fingerprint?
It can, yes.
Why?
In some cases, if water is run over a surface, it may obscure that latent impression that was left behind because washing is residue or something of that nature.
And how about if the person's turning the cup as they're doing whatever it is they're doing with it? Would that also affect whether or not they might leave behind a usable latent fingerprint?
How an item is handled will always affect whether or not a latent print is left behind or not.
I move for the initial.
No objection.
230 is admitted.
I wonder what she's looking like now.
Exhibit number 77. What are we looking at?
It's a lower view of the victim inside of the shower stall.
And what is this right here? Is that the wall? I guess is what I'm saying.
Yes, the wall of the shower stall.
And this is his right foot, correct?
Yes, it is.
Is that touching that wall?
Yes, it is.
How about the left knee? Is that also touching the wall?
Yes.
And if we look over here to the right, what portion of his anatomy is that?
It's his right knee.
Is that touching the wall also?
It looks like it is. I don't know specifically if it is or not.
If we go back to exhibit number 76, his head, correct?
Yes, it is.
Is that up against the portion of the shower there?
Yes, it is.
Now, exhibit 78, we're starting to see, first of all, the victim's body here, correct?
That is the victim inside the shower stall, yes.
And 2, 3, and 4, what are we looking at there?
Those were some hair and fiber-like materials that were found around the shower stall that were designated to be collected as items of evidence.
And exhibit number 79, we're also looking at this area here, right?
She was actually just indicating the hairs that you see here on the floor,
Right.
but you can see the red staining in this photograph.
And this is, what is this, the trim right here?
Baseboard trim of some kind, yes.
And there's also some staining up here, correct?
Yes,
And there's also staining here.
yes.
Exhibit number 80 is what?
That's a fiber-like material that was found on the floor in the bathroom that was collected as item number 3LB.
And exhibit number 82, we're now looking at what?
You can see a small portion of the shower stall with the victim inside, the bathtub.
Hold,
and it's
please.
leading into what
Hold, please. Share this tab instead.
Jodi Arias is offering a look inside her life
Whoa,
behind
I'm
bars,
sorry,
where
guys.
she's serving a life sentence for the murder of 30-year-old Travis Alexander. What is her life like now?
I was shocked that she has as much access to kind of the outside world as she does.
Brianna Whitney, crime reporter at 3TV and CBS 5 in Phoenix, hosts the new documentary Obsessed, Unraveling Jodi Arias.
She talks about so many different things in her writings right now in a blog of all things.
Yup, Arias has a new Substack blog, Just Jodi, that 700 subscribers pay to read. In her post, she reveals that she works in the prison library and is one hell of a baker. She also paints and maintains a website where her work can be purchased. It's true. Her artwork, like this self-portrait, is available for sale. This sells for $39. And check out these portraits of Lucille Ball and Elizabeth Taylor.
She sells her art and she profits off of that, and that money goes to her attorney and legal fees, and she can use that in prison.
Wow. All right. Let's get back to the gruesome details of what she did. Seems like an awful segue. Way to go, Lacey.
I call the toilet room. The toilet's contained in that room. There's a door, and then a portion of the bathroom to the right side of the photograph.
What's this right here?
It's a towel.
Take a look at exhibit number 28.
Yes, I recognize it.
What is it?
This is that same towel from the master bathroom.
Was there one or two towels there?
I believe there's only one.
When you say you believe it,
Wait,
you're not sure.
hold on.
Go ahead and take a look at
Lefty, are you aware, or do you have any idea why the prosecutor was so mean to her throughout this trial? Like, I would be fascinated to know what in the hell she did to make the prosecutor be such a dick to her, because they're on the same side. I'm very confused. But I started off the stream today, and within the first minute, he was showing her a photo, and he was like, "Do you know what this is?" She was like, "A light switch. Have you ever seen one of these before?" Fucking excuse you? Shit.
make sure. Okay.
Mean to the forensic girl. It's 3 o'clock. It's my bewitching hour. Lefty knows this. If you're new here,
Single towel.
Why don't you hold it up for us? What's the exhibit number? Please? It's the green tag.
Time for drugs.
Look for the emission exhibit 28.
Blow-nies.
28 is admitted.
Take a look at the label there on that. See what it says.
It says Bianca, B-I-A-N-C-A, concept by Mundo Textile, M-U-N-D-O-T-E-X-T-I-L, all one word.
Yeah, he just seems like a huge dick. Sorry, we are not family friendly. Okay, by we I mean I.
That we previously looked
I
at
tried to
is
be.
from exhibit number 216 from the washer. You remember talking about that?
Yes, I do.
Why don't you read the label on this before?
Labeled Bianca, concept by Mundo Textile.
Do the, at least the labels, are they from, do the labels match? How about that?
Yes, they do.
And if we hold this up, hold the other one. They seem to be a little bit different in shape, correct?
Yes, they do.
And also one is spotted and one is not, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Ah,
Exhibit 83 shows us, first of all, what is this right here?
That's the victim inside the shower stall,
And this is the
bathrobe.
this right here.
Some staining or some material that was seen on the wall by the shower stall.
Exhibit number 84, we're looking at what?
That is a view of the bathtub inside the master bathroom.
And this room was what again?
I call it the toilet room. It's the room that contains the toilet in the bathroom.
And what is this right here?
That is red staining, reddish brown staining that was seen on the wall
And
or door jam.
I may have to show you the photograph because of the glare on this one. You know what this is down here? If you want to bring the photograph up there.
That's a bath mat.
This right here. That's the bath mat, right?
Yes, it is.
Number 85, what are we looking at there?
he
That's
is
another
just
view of the same bath mat that we discussed.
And this right here on the left, what is that?
That is the door jam of the entry to the toilet room with the staining that was on the previous photograph.
And this right here is what?
More staining,
And down here on the ground is,
more reddish brown substance.
and this right here
It's also a reddish brown stain.
on the map, correct?
Correct.
And this right here is what right there?
Additional staining.
The towels that we looked at, where are they in relationship to this staining right here where I'm pointing to?
The towel that is in front of me is directly above, maybe slightly further back from that. It's hanging from that wall in the
Okay.
photograph.
Exhibit 86. What are we looking at here?
That's a view from the staining on the walls and tile floor of the master bathroom, showing the entry into the toilet room, and you can see more of the bathroom itself.
And this up here?
That's this tile here.
Exhibit 87 is what?
That's a more mid-range close-up view of the reddish staining that's on the door jamb and some of the floor leading into the toilet room.
You see that right back there?
Yes, I do.
What is that?
More reddish brown staining that was on the bottom pedestal of the toilet.
Okay. I'll show you exhibits 88 through 116. Let's take a look at those.
Joshua has my link, but Joshua's experiencing storms. So let me figure out how to do this.
You recognize what's in these photographs?
Yes, I do.
What do they show?
Those are photographs of the master bathroom, including staining, shows the sink area and the interior of the linen closet that's also in the bathroom.
Are they true depictions of the scene when you worked on it back in June of 2008?
Yes, they are.
Look at the editions, exhibit 88 through 116.
Hopefully you guys don't hear that. My phone's ringing. Sorry. Okay. How do I do this?
Objection, Your Honor.
Exhibits 88 through 116 are admitted.
Do I just post it in here? Thank you for letting me know, Lefty. Let me know if that works on your end, please. Okay. Cool. I can tell my Adderall's starting to wear off.
Start with 88, and we are looking at what here?
That's a view of the toilet inside of the room, the toilet room.
89, we're looking at what now?
That's showing the reddish staining that's on the pedestal of that.
And that would be right there.
Yes, yes, it is.
Number 90 is what?
A closer view of those stains.
And these are it right here, correct?
Yes, they are.
91 is, what is this here?
This is showing staining on both the tile floor and the wall. You can see the entry to the toilet room on the left side of the photograph, and that's the wall that would be along the side of the toilet room that we see in other photographs.
And this is this the wall where the towel is?
Yes,
And this is the staining that you're talking about?
yes, that's correct.
And is this also a stain here on the left?
Yes, it is.
92, if we go to the upper right, what do we see up here?
That's this towel.
And
Point.
93 is what?
That is a view of the corners of the bathroom from around the area where the shower stall would be, from that direction to the corner of the bathroom.
And what is this right here?
The sinks within the bathroom.
94 shows us what?
Some of the floor in that master bathroom, the wall.
Oh no. Sorry.
107 is what?
That's a photograph of the staining on the sink from a different viewpoint
That-
to the corner of the bathroom.
There we
What is
go.
this right here?
The sinks within the bathroom.
94 shows us what?
There.
Some of the floor in that master bathroom, the walls, the reddish staining, and two scales that were inside that bathroom.
Fairly certain my mom still has that.
That is a mid-range photograph of
That scale.
Placard number 15, because that item was collected as 15 LB by me.
And number 96?
That depicts the scale and also what was beyond the vanity in the bathroom containing the sink. So you can see a trash can and some staining near that scale.
And is this staining here too or not?
I don't know.
97 is what?
That is a view of the vanity and sinks in the master bathroom.
And you found this was open when you were there, correct?
To the best of my recollection, yes.
98, what are we looking at here?
That is reddish brown staining and reddish brown substance that was inside and on top of the sink in the master bathroom.
99 is what? What are we looking at here?
That's another view of the right side sink in the master bathroom with staining. There's also scales in the photograph that were placed in order to do additional documentation photographs of that staining within the mirror and sink areas.
And 100 is what?
Another view of the same staining with the scales for reference.
And it also shows us the edge here, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
And it does have red. Does it have red staining on it?
Yes, it does.
There is something here on the upper left. What is that?
That is a letter marker D to indicate which area was photographed.
And exhibit 101 shows us what?
A closer view of the staining that would be within that D area or quadrant.
102?
That's an overhead view of the sink on the right side and the staining within on top of the sink and countertop.
Looks like a wipe pattern. Are you familiar with like wiping or not?
I don't do blood spatter
Okay.
interpretation.
My God, you guys.
3 shows us what now?
A closer view of some of the staining on the sink.
That's actually inside the sink with the outlet valve there, right?
That's correct. It was both inside the sink and on top of the sink.
104? What are we looking at there?
That's another overhead view of the staining on the sink and the vanity top with some scales and letter and number designators.
This bottle that's here, do you see whether or not it has any staining on it? Can you tell?
I see staining around it. I'm not sure if there's any on the bottom.
Take a look at exhibit 104 with your
It appears that there's staining on the bottom, yes.
bottle's not open, right?
No, it's not.
And 105, we're looking at these patterns, whatever they may be, on a different portion of the sink, right?
Yes.
In terms of coloring, these on the left look a lot darker than the ones on the right, correct?
Yes, they do.
106 now, over to more to the right. You see that staining there, correct?
Yes.
107 is what?
That's a photograph of the staining on the sink from a different viewpoint. It shows the edge of the sink and some of the spatter inside of the sink running down.
Right here.
Yes.
108 is?
That is a photograph of the staining that I designated D1. That area was swabbed and collected as a sample.
And 109, what is this right here?
That is the linen closet or closet within the master bathroom.
And this right here? See this right here?
That's red staining substance that's on the tile in the bathroom.
I want you to look at this box, and there you go. You see that box there?
I'm trying to get this to work for you guys.
Right here, bottom. That box.
Okay, for me.
I know we can look at it. You were there. Can you do any better than what our eyes are looking at?
It was a light gradient of red staining running up the box. What appeared to be running up the box.
And in front of it is this red, larger stain.
Yes.
And were these also stains here?
Yes, they are.
And while I have this, of course is, what's this white thing here?
That's the door to that closet
Right.
in the master bathroom.
You know what this is right here?
Yes, I do.
I'm going to bring it in a little bit. What is that?
That is a cartridge casing that was found on the floor in the master bathroom.
And did you seize that?
Yes, I did.
I just don't get shooting if you just
Well, you take a look at
slit
exhibit
his
number
throat.
60.
It seems like overkill. Okay, so
What is it?
That's the cartridge casing that I collected as number 1 LB.
I move for the admission of exhibit number 218.
No objection.
216, 18 is admitted.
We packaged it. Did you notice the caliber of it? Right on the caliber of it or no?
I documented what was written on the head stamp of the cartridge casing, yes.
And what was written on the head stamp of this cartridge casing?
WIN 25 auto.
Do you know what WIN stands for? It may not be your area.
It's not my area.
You know what the 25 stands for?
I believe it's caliber, but I don't work with
That's not your
firearms.
area. Okay. Let's look a little bit at a wider view of this. That's the casing. And then we look at this area here, which pan out a little bit more. And
I'm gonna
is this right
figure
here?
this out.
That's the cartridge casing.
this up here is
The right side sink.
exhibit number 110, shows us what?
That's a closer view of cartridge casing on the bathroom floor.
And it also shows us that there's what? You see this right up here?
There's red staining and red substance all over the floor as well.
And exhibit 111 shows us,
A closer view of the cartridge casing.
and this right here is just some red staining, correct?
Yes.
It may be stating the obvious, but I'm going to ask you, to the naked eye, your eye, and you were there, is there any staining on the top of this casing that's in this red stain?
Not that I see.
See that?
It's a little blurry, but I still don't see any red staining on the top.
Exhibit number 112. Now what are we looking at here? Starting with this corner here, what is that?
That's the sink, or portion of the sink pedestal.
And this down here is,
That's the cartridge casing, and it's photographed with evidence placard number 1.
and up here,
That's a towel.
and down here,
That's the hallway that leads from the master bedroom to the master bathroom, or vice versa.
and right here.
That is the doorway leading from the bathroom into the closet.
Exhibit 113 is the staining and what?
A
We're good
overview
now.
view of item number 1, LB, with placard 1.
It shows some staining there also.
It does.
114 is the placard and a close-up of the casing, correct?
Yes, it is.
Exhibit number 115 shows us the box, right?
Correct.
And then it shows us the items in the closet. Number 11, what is number 11?
It's a USB thumb drive. That was a Target brand that was collected from inside that closet.
A what now?
A USB storage device, thumb drive.
That was number, what number was that?
That was 11.
And what was number 10 then?
What does this you speak
It's a
of?
prepaid legal services business card.
And now 116, what are we looking at here?
That is red substance staining that's on the floor in the master bathroom and hallway to the master bathroom.
And now are we headed into the master bathroom, bedroom now?
You're heading down the hallway towards the master bedroom and that, to the right.
Great, thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take the weekend recess. Can we step down, please return January 8th at 10:30? All right, ladies and gentlemen, there will be no trial tomorrow, Friday, no trial Monday, the 7th. You should also return on Tuesday, January 8th at 10:30. I know every day I ask you to follow the admonition. Page 13 of your preliminary instructions contains that admonition. Since we are about to recess for the weekend, I want to remind you of your obligations.
Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Stop sharing really quickly. And I am going to pull up the next victim. Oh, that's not a good way to. Lacey. Wait, babe. Okay. So I am pretty much, brilliant. Before I go on my diatribe and get us started on the next video, let me get my camera switched back over. I can't have my phone in my hands or I won't pay attention. I'm sure you guys can understand that. Okay, we are good. Okay, so what I have done, and Josh, if you're watching, this might be helpful for you to know. I went to Old Faithful, aka ChatGPT, and I asked ChatGPT, like, which witnesses and which testimony do I absolutely need to show? And I asked for a breakdown of each day. I asked for it to even like timestamp, tell me where to skip, pause, fast forward, clip. And this is why I feel confident that our jobs are secure, at least for the time being. It totally left that chick that we just watched. It left her off, like entirely left her off. So, from what I can tell, based on its analysis, it says that we should watch the next witness, but it also says that this witness that we should watch, it says that they testified on day 7 and not day 3. So I don't know what's up with that, but we're going to go with it, you know? Oh, let me get this started for y'all. And if you could do me a favor, if you could be so kind as to please like the stream. And if you aren't subscribed to my channel, that's just silly because it's free. And I love you guys. Period. So let's hang out on the YouTubes. And in order for us to do that, I need you guys to subscribe. Cool. Awesome. Let's get this show on the road. I literally have a spinny wheel of death. So let me Jodi Arias trial day 3.
And just for illustrative purposes, if we then go to our diagram, do we see the number 10 there?
Yes,
And that's where that was selected from?
that's correct.
What is it? This,
It's a business card.
for whom? You know,
I believe, may I see it, please? It says Travis Alexander on the card.
I move for the admission of exhibit 219.
Any objection?
None, Your Honor.
Exhibit 219 is admitted.
Take a look at exhibit 219. Basically, that's what the card
What's
looks like.
that?
Yes.
And I'm going to show you some of the photographs. These are exhibits 117 through 140. Take a look at them.
Yeah, it says it's still important for us to watch this part. So we're going to finish her up. Finish her up. Thanks, Lefty, for letting me know. I'm subbed like 8 times. You're so cute. I only have 1 account. I know I'm lame. So I appreciate you.
You recognize them?
Yes, I do.
What are they on?
These are photographs of the hallway that is between the master bedroom and bathroom, as well as photos from inside the master bedroom and bathroom, and items and the overall appearance of those areas.
If we take a look at exhibit number 249, is the area that we're talking about this hallway here? Is that what we're talking about?
That's correct.
And were these taken after the investigation in June of 2008?
Yes, they were.
Move for the addition of exhibits 117 through 140.
No objection, Your Honor.
Exhibits 117 through 140 are admitted.
Now let's take a look at exhibit 117. What are we looking at here?
That is red staining on the tile floor in the bathroom.
All right, where specifically in the bathroom are we talking about here?
From this view, it appears to be close to the closet that was in the bathroom.
If we then take a look at exhibit 118, does that show you where that spot is?
Yes, yes, it does.
All right, so let's go back to 117. Where is the spot if you look at our diagram?
That would be where the swinging door is,
Right here?
in that region, yes.
And this right here is what?
That's the door for that closet.
So where were you, how were you taking this photograph?
Okay.
Or how was this
It's a bird's eye view of that region, of that staining.
and right here is what? Do you know what that is right there?
That's the cardboard box that was inside of the closet.
Exhibit 118. What do we have here?
You see a portion of that same staining area, and you see a better view of the cardboard box from inside the closet in the master bathroom.
And what is this right here? Do you know what that is? Did you note that, or do you have any idea what that is?
In the photographs, it appears to be red substance of some kind.
All right. Let's take a look at exhibit number 119. Do you see the stain here?
Yes, I do.
If we go back to exhibit number 118, do we see that same stain?
You see a portion of that same stain, yes.
Where?
In the lower right region.
So now what are we looking at?
This is a view of the tile floor in the bathroom and heading towards the hallway, as well as evidence placards marking items 5 through 7 that were to be collected.
And if we say this is 5, what number is this one?
That would be 6.
And this one is where number 7 is, right?
That's correct.
There are also some placards further up here, correct?
I do see those now, yes.
Where does this room lead into? Right here.
That is the master bedroom closet,
And what is this down here?
the master bathroom, or excuse me, bedroom.
And if we're looking at it this way, where is the body?
Would be, from this vantage point, would be to your right.
It would be this way, correct?
Yes.
That's number 119. And the vantage point is from here this way, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And to get this issue of the placards taken care of, you said this was 5, this was 6, and this was 7, correct?
Yes.
Just sort of to see if we can follow up. What is 5? What do you represent 5 is?
May I see the report that was submitted
Sure.
last Thursday?
Take a look at exhibit 276. See if that- Look at it, and then I will re-ask you the question.
Thank you.
Okay, what's number 5?
Possible hairs and or fibers that were collected from inside the bathroom
And number 6?
is a possible hair.
And number 7?
Is also possible fibers or hair.
Let's take a look at exhibit number 7. I'm sorry, 1 more. What are we seeing here?
It's more of a mid-range view of the tile floor in that hallway and the items marked as 5, 6, and 7.
And then we also see, what is this? This staining here that we have here?
Yes, there was quite a bit of staining visible in this photograph.
121 shows us what?
A closer view of the items that were collected as number 5 LB.
And what is this area here?
That's the carpeting inside of the closet.
And without, well, what is this right here? What is this called?
I would call from personal experience a baseboard.
All right. 122, what are we looking at there?
That is a possible shoe impression that was found on the tile floor in the bathroom.
And what number is that you marked?
It was labeled impression number 1 when it was photographed with scale.
And if we take a look at this diagram, do you know where it was found?
Yes. It is.
Go ahead.
It is, you see a bubble that says shoe impression in an oval with an arrow pointing to where it was somewhat between 5 and 6.
You said that it was labeled number 1, right?
It was.
Well, if I go down here to this diagram, which is exhibit 249, see this right there?
I do.
Isn't that a number 1 already?
It is.
And what is number 1 here?
That was item number 1 LB. That was a cartridge casing.
Okay, so how do you differentiate so that we can keep them straight?
Some items that are not able to be collected will be labeled with a letter, some with a number, and some may be labeled with a combination of the two. In this case, latent impressions, finger and palm impressions were labeled with letters. The shoe impression was labeled impression number 1. It was just a manner for us to keep track of what was being photographed.
I understand that. How do we know that number 1 isn't the same as cartridge casing? How do you keep track of that? Do the photographs assist you in that? Is that how that's done?
Photographs and report, correct.
How do you do your job?
Exhibit number 123, what are we looking at here?
I'm suspicious.
That is a close-up view of a portion of the possible hair that was collected as item number 6 LB.
Is this the hair that we're talking about? Possible.
That's a portion of it, yes.
Exhibit 124 shows us what?
The placard has been moved to show
Active
more of that hair
listening, man.
along the floor, or possible hair.
Exhibit 125, what do we see here?
That's an overall view of the hallway and floor, including the red staining from the hallway in the master bathroom.
How is this different from anything that we've been seeing?
There are no evidence placards in this.
In terms of processing a scene or investigating a scene, how, in this photograph that we have here, what is the process whereby the photographs are taken? What is the sequence of the photographs taken in the placard's place? Why don't you explain that to me?
Absolutely. When we first arrive at a scene, we will take overall entry photographs of the residence or wherever the scene is to document its condition when we arrived. There won't be any evidence placards or anything in those photographs so that it's showing the location of items within the residence or scene without us having introduced anything by the crime scene investigator. Once items have been identified as needing to be collected, we will take additional photographs of those items. We will mark those items with evidence placards so that we can keep track of which item is which in the photographs and in diagrams, for example. And additional photographs will be taken of the scene again with those evidence placards in the photograph. That's for later reference. So the first photographs have no evidence marking, and the second photographs will have evidence marking sets of photographs.
Take a look at exhibit number 125. I want you to note this area here. Do you see that right there?
Yes,
What is that? Where does that lead to?
that is the closet, the linen type closet that was in the master
And
bathroom.
we talked about the trim here at the bottom, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
And then also take a look at this, for example. You see that right there?
Yes,
And I'll bring it up just so that we can look at it. See that?
yes.
If we then go to exhibit number 126 to orient yourself. Do you see this right here?
Yes, I do.
And this right here?
Yes.
Looking at those, what area are we looking at there?
That is a portion of the west wall near the bottom of the wall in the bathroom, near the linen closet.
And in looking at this, these do appear to be a little bit more red or brown or dark than this over here. Do you see that?
I see that, yes.
Is that a function of the camera or is that how they work?
These were as the scene appeared when we took the photograph.
We're
When the
saying-
photographs were taken.
Right, I understand that, but is this because of the photo of the camera, or is it true that this was darker than this when you were out there? I'm asking from your personal observation. I'm
Sir.
asking from your personal observations.
There were differences in the color, yes.
And exhibit 127. What are we seeing here?
This is a view of the baseboard, wall, and tile floor in the hallway bathroom, the hallway between the bathroom and bedroom.
And what is this over here? What is that right there? Is that carpet?
It appears to be carpet.
Well, why don't you take a look at it so that you can tell us you were out there, right?
Absolutely.
Well, let's take a look at 127. Tell us what that is.
That is the carpet in the,
She hasn't testified to testing any of this.
Well, ask another question.
What is this right over here?
that's the carpet in the master bedroom.
And again, is this a true depiction of this area and whatever marks are there as it existed back then?
Yes, it is.
He just seems to like be extra mean to her.
128.
I don't know.
What is this up here?
That is the door leading to the linen closet in that bathroom.
And this right here is what? What direction? Is this east or west?
That's the west wall.
And this right here is,
Red staining on the carpet in the master bedroom.
it is the master bedroom, then, correct?
That is correct.
If that's the west wall, what wall is this right here?
The east wall.
To get to the body from this area here, where would a person have to go, starting here to get to the body?
You would walk forward to the area near the linen closet and look to your left.
And if we look at exhibit number 249, because the directional is up here is north, how would they be able to walk?
You would walk south and then to the east.
Looking at this diagram, I'm going to bring it in pretty close so that way. And if you need to, I'll bring it up to you. From, what is that number there? Do you know, can you read that there or not? It's trying to focus it.
11 foot 4 inches is what I can see.
And over here on the right is what?
12 feet 6 inches.
Let's take a look at exhibit 129. First of all, which wall is this, east or west?
Will you zoom back for me?
What
Right there.
is?
Yes,
Okay, so which wall is this right here?
that's the west wall.
And
Him being mean to her?
placards down here, right?
Yes,
8 and 9, right?
that's correct.
What are 8 and 9?
Possible hairs and or fibers.
And where does this lead to, this entrance? The one with the carpet, where does that go to?
The carpet is the master bedroom. That's a view leading into the hallway leading to the master bathroom.
And these are, for lack of a better term, these are the patterns of the staining that was there.
No, I think he's just a dick.
Yes,
Take a look at exhibit 130. What is this right here?
that is the entry to the master bedroom closet.
And do you know what this is down here?
Those were sandals, flip-flop type sandals that were collected.
And then as we look here, this door up here, what is that?
That is the door to the linen closet that's inside of the master bathroom.
This, see this down here, this trim down at the bottom?
Yes, I do.
What is just to the right of that? What's to the right of that?
That's the master bedroom door
That leads to the outside.
to the loft in the upstairs, correct?
Exhibit 131. What are we looking at there?
That is red staining that was on the carpet in the master bedroom.
Is that a close-up of it?
Yes, it is. A closer view of it.
Exhibit 132. First of all, what wall are we looking at there?
That is the east wall.
And these are, for example, the patterns that were there when you were out there in June of 2008, correct?
Yes, they are.
Exhibit 133. What do we see here?
That is a different vantage point of some of the red staining that was on the east wall of the hallway.
Let's take a look at exhibit 134. What is this area here? What is this? Where does that lead to?
That is the hallway that leads to the master bathroom.
And this door leads where?
That is the master bedroom door. You're seeing a view of it from inside the master bedroom looking out.
And this lock that's on this door, can you describe the locking mechanism from the inside for me?
Yes, it is a flat piece of metal that is turned.
So can it lock from the inside?
Yes.
You need a key to lock it from the inside.
No, you don't.
You need a key to get into it from the outside.
Yes.
Exhibit number 135 is showing this what?
That is a view of a stain that was identified as 9.
And exhibit 136 is what?
That is a close-up of that stain identified as 9.
Let's take a look at exhibit 138. See that?
I do?
First of all, I'm going to start with the door over here. You see that
Can
right
you
there?
see?
Yes.
In the previous photograph, we saw it, and it was white. What's all this dirty black stuff on it?
That is latent processing powder, fingerprint powder.
And then if we look to the left of this photograph, first of all, what wall is that?
That is the west wall.
And we see all this black stuff also on it. What is that?
That is also processing powder.
And who put that processing powder on there? Or were you there when that was put on there?
Yes.
In terms of processing the scene, you told us that, well, you first take overalls without placards, right?
Yes.
Then you told us placards are put down, and then you take photographs, right?
That's correct.
In terms of when the black powder is applied, when does that come in this process? Is it before any photographs are taken, after the placards are taken? How does that work?
Typically, latent processing will occur after overall and evidentiary photos of items marked with placards are taken. There are times where we may identify items to be collected later on after we've already begun processing, but typically processing will be done after photographs have been taken and the evidence items have been collected.
Why is that?
Processing for latent print can be a very messy process.
And would it then affect other items that may be there? Is that if you do it first?
It could, yes.
Exhibit number 137, what do we see there?
That is a view of the hallway leading to the master bathroom.
And does it show us the messiness on the right there?
Yes, it does.
Judgy.
Exhibit 139, what are we looking at there?
That is a view of the west wall in that hallway bathroom, the bathroom hallway, pardon me. And there is a section of the wall that has a square drawn around it.
Is that this right here?
Yes.
And why is that significant?
Contained within that drawn square is a latent palm impression that was developed on the wall.
Take a look at exhibit 239. You recognize it?
Yes, I do.
What is it?
This is the piece of wall that was cut out and collected as item number 77 LB.
And this is what we're looking at in this photograph.
While it's still in the wall, yes.
Remove the initial exhibit.
Any objection?
No, no.
239 is submitted. Mr. Martinez, we're going to take the noon recess at this time. Ladies and gentlemen, please be back in the designated area at 1:25. Please remember the admonition. You are excused.
Thank goodness she was able to get herself composed.
I'm a medical examiner. I'm charged with examining deceased individuals and certifying a cause management.
Okay. I'm happy. I was getting really bored. Okay. So bored that I was looking up like how much longer we needed to listen to her. All right. So this is the medical examiner. If you have an opinion on this matter, let me know. Because I read online through Old Faithful, ChatGPT, that this is a very important witness. What's his face? It is Kevin Horn. Let me double check. Okay. So yeah, I typed in Kevin, or I typed in Dave Horn, and I'm sorry, I typed in Horn, period. Nothing else. This dude's name is Kevin Horn. ChatGPT is saying that there is a Dave Horn who discovered the body, and I feel like it's there's no one else that it could be. Oh, I digress. It does say there is a Dr. Kevin Horn. Sorry, ChatGPT. Massive witness. The content is like the full autopsy. So I don't know. Maybe we'll get to see some photos. Key, according to ChatGPT here, is the order of the injuries. So I'm actually interested in hearing about that and why the self-defense claim is impossible. Oh, it does consist of extremely graphic photos. The takeaway is he is one of the most devastating witnesses for the defense. He established the cruelty, brutality, and the sequence of the attack. And he had a very calm, precise, and professional manner about him that made him believable. And it is an absolute must watch. So I will, my goodness, I will not chit chat any further. Let's go with someone who is actually interesting.
And in terms of your education, where did you go to medical school?
University of Maryland,
And what year did you graduate?
1995,
When did you begin working for the medical examiner's office again?
2001.
And drawing your attention back to June of 2008, did you have occasion to conduct a medical examination on the body of Travis Alexander?
Yes.
With regard to an examination of an individual such as this, what are the first steps that are taken?
The body is received under seal. It's in a sealed body bag with a number that's unique to that case. That seal was broken in my presence. The bag is opened, and then we examine the outside of the body, collecting evidence, performing photographs, and then we move on to an external examination, documenting injuries, and then an internal examination or an autopsy.
In this particular case, were there any x-rays taken?
Yes.
And what is the purpose of the x-rays?
Mostly to document internal trauma and or projectiles that we may need to recover.
I'm going to show you some photographs. Take a look at exhibits 170 through 173.
He has very nice eyes.
Do you recognize those?
I do.
And are these photographs that were taken as part of your medical examination?
Yes.
And specifically, do they include the identification?
Would it be interesting for you guys if I put up a like a Google Doc with the information that I'm getting from ChatGPT? I can't help but think that if I were watching along with myself, you know, if I were you guys, I think that would be helpful, but I don't know, since this is an old case, like, and some of these people in here are just rewatching it with me because they are kind souls. Lefty and Josh. Let me know your thoughts, because I don't mind doing it.
Photograph as well as the x-ray.
Yes.
I move for the admission of exhibits 170 through 173.
Any objection? Just object to number 170. Council approach.
All right, let's speed this up.
Let's take a look at exhibit 170. And what is this number that's here on the left here?
083532. That's our case number for the year.
Is that the same as the number that came in the bag, in the sealed bag, or is that a different number?
There's an individual seal number on the bag, but the case number is separate from that.
And this is the face identifying the individual that was brought in, correct?
Yes.
The radiographs or the x-rays that were done in this particular case, were they done before you conducted your exterior examination or afterwards?
Before.
Let's take a look then at exhibit number 171. And what are we looking at here?
We're looking at a frontal X-ray of the head, and on the left side, I'm sorry, on the right side of the X-ray, you can see a projectile.
So when you say, you said the left side, that would be the left side of Mr. Alexander, correct?
His left, our right, as we look at the X-ray.
Exhibit number 172. What are we looking at here?
We're looking at a side view of the head again, showing the projectile.
And this is where the projectile ended up, correct?
Yes.
Is it, and it is on the left side, even though this is the right aspect.
Yes, it's his left cheek area.
In looking at 173, this is a radiograph or an x-ray of the top or the top portion or the chest portion. Why was this taken, or does the medical examiner's office just take a full view x-ray of everybody that comes in?
We usually do a full series of, especially in homicides, we'll do a full series of X-rays to look for any sort of hidden projectiles or any sort of, especially in a stabbing case, look for the tip of a knife or something like that, something that could harm us as we do the examination.
And is there anything that is shown in this x-ray as it applies to the stabbing or the shooting?
No, there's no metal fragments visible.
As part of your examination, the external examination, did you take a look at the hands?
Yes.
Take a look at exhibits 174 through 183 and see if that depicts photographs of Mr. Alexander.
Hi guys, if you're watching, welcome. Please make sure to like the stream and subscribe if you aren't already subscribed to the channel. Because I'm a hoot and a delight.
Any objection? No objection. Exhibits 174 through 183 are admitted.
What do you think she's saying to her?
Take a look at 174. What are we looking at here?
The back of the right hand.
So one of the things that we know in this case is that the body was in its home for a while, or days before it was actually discovered. So was there any decomposition that was associated with the body? Are we looking at any in this particular photograph, or was it other parts of the body?
Yes, there was a state of what we would call intermediate decomposition, or the middle state of decomposition, and it involved the whole body. In this picture in particular, we can see green discoloration of the hand and also early what we call mummification of the fingertips.
And if you take a look over here on the thumb, why is that dark? Or I guess in the rest of the hand?
It's dried.
And is that part of the mummification process that you described for me?
Yes.
Are there any injuries to the upper portion of Mr. Alexander's right hand?
No.
Take a look at Exhibit 175. Now the fingers are extended, and we do see that there is darkness on each of those fingers. Do you see it? Fingernail areas. Do you see that?
Yes.
What causes that?
Again, that's decompositional change.
And are there any injuries on the top of the arm?
There is an injury to the thumb. I don't think it's really clearly visible in this photograph.
All right, let's then take a look at Exhibit number 176, which shows us what are we looking at here?
This is the palm of the right hand, and I think there may be another picture that shows this better, but there is an incised or a cutting injury at the tip of the right thumb.
And Exhibit 177.
Let me
Yeah,
make
nothing else.
myself tiny.
In looking at injuries, are you able to tell whether they were made before death, after death, or at the time of death, part of the examination?
Sometimes it depends on the case.
How about this one right here? Could you tell by looking at it and conducting an analysis whether or not this was done either before death, at the time of death, or after death?
I think it was done before death. There is hemorrhage associated with it.
When you say that there's hemorrhage associated with it, explain that a little bit more to me. What is it that causes a person to hemorrhage if they're alive, which is what I think you're telling me?
Well, if you have a heartbeat, you're going to have blood flow to an area that's injured, and so you'll have blood flow from an injury. So if the skin is cut or torn, there will be a great deal of blood that will come from an injury in a living person. A deceased person will lose some blood, but not a great deal.
So this one right here, it is your opinion that Mr. Alexander was alive when this was
Yeah,
found?
that couldn't.
Yes, taking into consideration what I said and also in context with other injuries that are on the hands.
And what kind of injury is this one that we're looking at?
It's a sharp force injury. It's caused by a blade or a sharp force object.
Sounds great.
If an individual, let's get away a little bit from a knife right now and just focus on an individual who is dragged or is hit, that kind of thing. If an individual is dead and somebody applies some force, are they going to bruise necessarily or not?
There may be something that would look like a bruise, but it will not be as large or as, and the color will be different in a deceased person because there's no blood flow to the area. So you're actually just breaking blood vessels in that area, and whatever blood happens to be there will ooze out, but there won't be blood pumped into the area.
And part of the reason I ask that is I see that there's sort of like on top of it a little bit of a darker area. Is that mummification or is that bruising?
It may be a combination of both. There's some darkening underneath the nail there, but in the context of the mummification, I can't really say for sure.
Are you familiar with the term defensive wounds?
Yes.
And define that for me, please.
They're based largely on location on the body. If you have injuries to the backs of the forearms or to the palms or backs of the hands, you can have gunshot wounds in those locations, or in the case of an assault with a knife or an edged weapon, you can have cuts or incised injuries to the backs of the palms or the backs of the forearm, and it's consistent with someone trying to either grab the knife or fend off wounds.
She's really losing
You
it.
described it by necessity, the person would have to be conscious and alive, correct?
Yes,
And is this that we're looking at the right, is that a defensive wound?
could be, yes, consistent with that.
Let's take a look now at exhibit number 178. What do we see here?
It's the back of the left hand.
And again, with the back of the left hand, you notice this little portion right here. What is that right there?
It appears to be what we call a void in the blood. Maybe there's an area of pooling the blood the hand was resting in, and the blood is not staining that area.
But that's not an injury, correct?
No.
Exhibit 179. What are we looking at there?
It's the back of the left hand.
Do we see any injuries here or not?
You can see the edge of an injury on the side below the thumb, the side of the hand, and then also on the back of the thumb. So there are two injuries that are partially visible here.
And those injuries, if we look at exhibit 180, do those show those a little bit more?
Yes, this is the palm of the left hand, again showing from the side of the thumb near the wrist. There's a fairly deep wound that's going into the muscle there. There are two separate wounds at the palm below the index finger, and then I believe there's another injury on the thumb that we've already described.
In looking at these, just to the naked eye, and obviously naked eye may not tell us anything, as we compare those to the injury to the right thumb, they seem to be a little bit deeper. Is that true? or not?
Yes.
And how deep are these in comparison to the one that we saw in the thumb?
The one on the thumb is fairly superficial. It just clips off part of the nail. This is actually going into the soft tissue and the muscle beneath the hand, so it's going into depth of about 1/4 of an inch for all three injuries.
And if you look at this, are you able to tell us what type of blade is doing this other than that it's a knife blade?
All I can say is that it's a sharp-edged object.
Let's take a look at exhibit 181. And this has a scale to it, correct?
Yes.
And so for those of us that are really not versed in metrics, how big would you say this one is, the larger of the two?
That measurement in inches is 1 3/4 inch,
And this one right here, the one down there.
3/4 of an inch.
Taking a look at exhibit 182. Now we're looking at those first two injuries that we described, the one near the wrist and the one on the higher up on the thumb, correct?
Yes.
Were these also deep? This one that I'm pointing to near the wrist, was that deeper than the one on the right thumb?
Yes.
And if we look at 183, we have the scale there, correct?
Yes.
How big was that one?
That was measured in inches, 1 1/2 inch, and on the back of the thumb, 1 inch.
One of the things that we talked about with regard to the other injury to the right hand was whether or not they were consistent with defensive wounds. In this one, were these consistent with defensive wounds?
Yes,
And does that mean that Mr. Alexander was alive at the time that these injuries were inflicted?
I believe he was.
Would they have bled at the time?
Yes.
Let's take a look at exhibits 184 through 191. Are you familiar with those photographs?
Yes.
Do they depict the injuries to Mr. Alexander's front area from the head down to, I guess it would be down to his toes, right?
Yes.
I move for the admission of exhibit 24 and 191.
No objection. 84 through 191 are admitted.
Sir, while those are being marked, how tall was Mr. Well, as part of the examination, is the body measured for height?
Yes.
How tall was Mr. Alexander?
69 inches,
That's 5'9", correct? And how much did the body weigh at the time of the examination?
189 pounds.
The decomposition process, does that add weight, or does that take away weight, or does it just not affect it much?
Generally, you're
Add.
going to weight. You'll take away weight, and also in a person who's been bleeding, that will also take away weight.
Oh.
Let's take a look at exhibit 184. And I'm interested in this area here on the right arm. Do you see that right there? This area here?
Yes.
That looks like it's some sort of veiny action going on, veins or something. Is that what that is, or is that something else?
We term that marbling, and it's a decompositional change. It's a bacterial action in the small veins under the surface of the skin.
How about right here in the middle of the stomach?
That is what we call skin slippage. It's also decompositional.
One of the things that appears to be there, and that may not be so, but it appears that the body is a little bit bloated. Do you see that?
Yes.
Again, is that something that's associated with decomposition, or is that really how he was in life?
I do believe he does have a bit of bloating. He may have been a slightly heavyset person in life, but there is some bloating, and that's from bacterial gas formation after death.
Take a look at exhibit 185. On the shoulder there, do you see that?
Yes.
Is that an injury there?
Yes.
How big is that injury in terms of inches? I know we have the metric scale there, but how big is that? It's on the right shoulder.
Just looking at the photograph, you do have an English and a metric scale on the same side, so it's about each of them, the largest of them is about an inch.
Is this a deep sort of cut, or is this sort of a grazing kind of cut?
Very superficial grazing injury.
But it would bleed, correct?
Yes.
And how about this one right here that we're looking at right there? This is
That
one-
is characterized as a stab wound, so it's actually a deeper wound, but it actually terminates at the breastbone, doesn't go into the chest cavity.
So as it was going in, it actually hit the breastbone and did not go any further, correct?
Correct, yes.
Would this wound have been fatal, whether immediately or rapidly, or alternatively longer term?
Not in and of itself, no.
But it would bleed, correct?
Yes.
We then go to the one right here. First of all, how big is that one?
Just looking at the scale, it's about 2.5 inches in length. It's transverse across the chest, or extending horizontally across the chest. And it's also, it's a deeply incised wound, so the blade is going below the skin, but it's not entering the chest cavity either.
You used the term incised that I don't think you used before. How do you define incised?
Well, sharp force injuries are usually divided into stab wounds and incised wounds. So a stab wound is deeper than it is long on the surface of the skin, and the incised wound is just the opposite. So if you
Smaller
take
than it is deep.
yes, if you take a razor and cut yourself on the skin, that's an incised wound. But if you stab yourself with a knife, then that's a deeper wound.
And this one right here, which is sort of below the chin and down here to the sort of the median. Can you tell me a little bit about that in terms of whether or not this is a stab wound, whether or not this is an incised wound? Can you tell me about that?
That's a stab wound, and I do think we do have better views of it, but that one actually penetrates a major vessel coming into the heart.
Let me show you then exhibit 186. Is that the better view of it?
Yes.
You said something about it going into the vessel of the heart. Why don't you explain to us a little bit about what the heart is and whether or not, when you said that it stabbed the vessel of the heart.
What's
whether
the
it
heart,
hit the
sir?
or hit the pericardium is what surrounds the heart,
The
right?
sacrum.
The sacrum. Whether it hit that, if you just sort of explain that one to us.
But I do want to clarify first on the photograph that it's the lower of the two wounds there, so not the one next to the scale. The
Right,
one
so
below
it's this one that we're
is the
talking
one that goes into the vessel. What this actually does is it goes through the cartilage between the ribs and the breastbone. There's some softer cartilage, especially in young people. And this knife has penetrated that cartilage and gone through the sac that surrounds the heart, which is the pericardial sac. And it has perforated or passed through the superior vena cava, which is a major vein that comes down from the upper body and the head and drains into the heart. And then from there, the heart beats and pushes the blood elsewhere in the body. It's a major vessel.
With regard to that major vessel, and I was talking about the tissue that encases the heart, is that vein inside that tissue that encases the heart, or is it outside, on top of it? Where
It starts out outside and enters the sac and then enters the heart, which is fully within that sac.
And this knife, did it penetrate the sac and hit this vein or not?
Yes.
So what happens when a stab or when a knife goes in and causes this amount of damage or this type of damage?
Well, depending on the position of the body, you may have significant internal bleeding, or if the person is leaning forward, they may bleed outside of the body because there is a tract leading from that vessel outside. But this is a major vessel. It's not going to bleed as fast as an artery, but it will bleed a considerable amount.
With regard to this considerable amount of bleeding that's going on, is this a wound that could kill this person?
Yes.
And do you have an estimate, or is there any science out there that tells you, well, this type of wound, given what I know about it, would take X amount of time?
No, it depends on so many factors. It depends on the person's health. It depends on care that they receive. It depends on their blood volume to begin with and the position of their body.
Also, with regard to a situation like that, what if we have a person who's asleep, relaxed, versus an individual who's animated, jumping up and running around? Does that affect the amount of blood that is being lost and how quickly the blood is being lost?
Yes, a person in action is going to have a rapidly beating heart and they will lose blood more quickly.
And
Oh,
other
well,
than the
yeah,
blood,
that
you know,
makes
We know
sense.
that these others have bled also, correct?
Yes.
This one above, this one. Would any of these injuries, and for example, this one, would what we associate with television, would blood come out of the mouth, the ears, or just out of the chest area?
It depends on what's hit inside the body. If the lung was nicked, which is possible in this case because we're dealing with a decomposed body, so the organs aren't as pristine, they're not as they don't lend themselves to examination as in a fresh individual. If the lung is nicked, they can cough up blood. If you have blood going into the throat area, he does have throat injuries as well, which we'll talk about. All of those can cause coughing up of blood or loss of blood out of the mouth and the nose.
There is death, and then there's also unconsciousness, correct? Those are two different things.
Yes.
With regard to this particular wound that's here at the bottom, is that something that would, once it's inflicted, would that cause Mr. Alexander to lapse into unconsciousness?
Eventually, yes, not immediately.
When you say eventually, do you have an estimate, maybe minutes, seconds, between the time of infliction and the time that he would lapse into unconsciousness?
If that were the only wound, and it's not, probably a few minutes because we're dealing with a vein and not an artery, so it's a lower pressure system, so blood loss is slower.
And how about if you take a look at that injury in connection with the things that we've seen with regard to his hands, the defensive ones that we talked about? Does that tell you, or at least in terms of time, does that indicate whether or not there was at least enough time for Mr. Alexander to attempt to defend himself and then if these other wounds to the hand?
With this wound to the heart, he should have been able to get his hands up and attempt to defend himself.
If he was in a seated position when this wound was inflicted, would he have the ability, even though this was inflicted, to get up and walk somewhere or move quickly somewhere, as a matter of fact?
Yes.
Exhibit number 187 shows us the injury to the right shoulder. Do you see that?
Yes.
Looks more like a scratch, doesn't it?
It's very superficial. Yes.
Do any of these injuries, including the one to Exhibit 186 and Exhibit 186, do any of these speak to movement or anything like that, or is just that's not something that these photographs show?
Since they're on multiple parts of the body, they imply a motion of the assailant or a motion of the decedent, and I can't say which of those is the case.
Exhibit 184, we do have the lower portion of his body, correct?
The lower part of the abdomen, right?
And we have this injury here, right? And then we
Yes.
have these, right?
Yes.
If we go to Exhibit 188, is that a close-up of them?
Yes.
What are these down here to the, as we look at it, to the lower part of the belly button?
There's another photograph which may not be.
Do we see any of these photos?
Extends across the front of the belly from where this stab enters. So some of that, what you're seeing is blood actually appearing on the surface of the skin because of this track where the stab wound is very close to the surface of the skin.
So what I think you're saying with regard to this stab wound is that it went something like that.
Yes.
And so if we do that from the opening to the longest one, how far is that?
I gave a maximum wound track depth of about 5 3/4 inches.
The other one is referring to his report. Can we have that mark, please?
Do you want markers or do you want markers?
It's the same report, so.
I think we have one mark.
He was like, why? No, I can understand not showing the body, but like specific wounds.
And I guess from now on, if you want to
Well, I guess as long as the jury sees them.
This one, and this one is, I think, says 5 3/4.
Yes.
What is the angle of that?
It's across the body from left to right and slightly downwards.
So it's sort of came sort of from the side right here,
Yes.
correct? And was he alive at the time that this happened, or was he deceased at that time?
More likely than not alive, since there's bleeding associated with the wound.
And you're talking about this down here, the bruising that's down here, correct?
Yes.
Is this area in the belly button, is that also associated with the stab wound?
Yes, it's going across the navel.
Exhibit 189, we're now looking at the lower portion of his body, right?
Yes.
And not to be delicate, was there any decomposition in the particular area that's body?
Yeah, it's usual to see some drying there and some early mummification, and that is present. Yes.
And
What is up with him and genitalia talk?
Apart from some decomposition changes, he also has some contusions or bruises on the shin area.
right here, is that correct?
On the right shin, yes.
Let's take a look at 191. Does that show it better?
Yes.
And the question is the same. Were these injuries here? Were these inflicted at the time of death, before death, after death? Can you tell?
I believe they're inflicted before death.
Would these be consistent with this individual being dragged somewhere while he's alive?
Or,
Really?
You're familiar. You've done how many autopsies, sir?
about 6,000.
And during that time, have you seen and studied the situation where someone is dragged?
I was gonna say.
How many times have you seen?
At least 3 or 4 times.
And looking at that along with your, and have you read up on this area? Is there any,
No.
given what you know and what you've seen in your work, and you said that these injuries are before death, could that be consistent with someone being dragged? Okay.
That seems like a, quite frankly, a ridiculous way to try to get the. I'm sorry. I'm wondering what she's doing. Is she trying to pretend like she's quiet weeping? Is she writing? Is she convulsing?
Consistent with somebody being dragging him along or him being dragged?
Usually, what you see in dragging is you'll see more drawn out abrasions. These look more like impacts to me against something. Bruising is usually from stumbling against something or being forced against something.
So in other words, these are consistent, more consistent in your view with him hitting something before death.
Yes, or something hitting him.
How about if we then go to Exhibit 190, and this is the right.
In case you guys missed it earlier, I have homemade onion dip that I am now going to mute myself and have a couple bites of. Let me show you. I am eating them with fresh kettle chips. So I felt like I had to show you since I'm going to be muting myself and having a bite.
Heel or left heel?
That is the left heel.
And what do we have here in the back of the left heel?
I call them abraded lacerations. So a laceration, as opposed to an incision, is actually a tearing of the skin rather than cutting, and it's abraded. So there's an abrasion or a scrape leading into the laceration, and that is also from a contact with an object of some kind.
And again, were these made before or after his death?
I believe before, because they are hemorrhagic.
And you said hemorrhagic, that means they were bleeding, right?
Bleeding into them is
But these do imply some sort of action, correct? There was movement.
a force, yes, of blunt force.
If you go back to this exhibit, which is 191, and looking at the left foot, do you see this right here? That area there by the heel?
Yes,
What is that?
that is a contusion or a bruise.
So that's also this. How is that different than the abrasion that we talked about?
A contusion or a bruise is just bleeding under the skin. The skin is intact, whereas an abrasion or a laceration, the skin is scraped or torn.
And if we look at the knee here, is that a contusion or an abrasion?
I would characterize that as an abrasion, and in contrast, the other things we've been talking about, I'd say that looks more like a post-mortem change. It's got some drying, it's kind of yellowish in color, so it really doesn't look like an ante-mortem or an injury before death.
So this could be something after death?
Yes.
And if an individual, I know it begs the question, but if an individual is dead, they're not going to be moving around in constants, right?
No.
Are you then telling me that actually a force was applied to this area as opposed to Mr. Alexander either moving or striking himself?
That's more likely, yes.
So take a look at exhibits numbers 192 through 199. Are those photographs of the victim's injuries in the back area of his body when conducting the examination in June of 2008?
Yes, and also some images of the head as well.
The back part of the head.
Yes.
Move to the addition of exhibits 192 through 190.
Exhibits 192 through 199 are admitted.
Huh. Good to know, Josh. Also good to know, Lefty. Oh my God, these headphones.
Let's take a look at exhibit 192. And the injuries that jump out at us are these right here. Are you familiar with the term grouping?
Yes.
Is this a grouping of injuries?
Yes.
And what does that mean to you?
Well, more likely than not, they occurred close in time, and a lot of them, most of them, have the same orientation.
When you say that they have the same orientation, what does that mean? And I'll show you exhibit number 193. What do we mean about the same orientation?
In general, except for one exception, I can see at the lower edge, they're all oriented exactly the same direction.
And what direction is that?
They're in a diagonal extending from the right shoulder towards the lower left side of the back.
So if these were inflicted like this,
Yes.
and with one exception, which exception is that?
The lower, there's a pair of wounds that appears that there's one that's sort of going the other direction, the other diagonal.
And these injuries that we're talking about that are coming this way like that, could they be consistent with the individual having his back, as I have it to you, turned to his attacker and the attacker just stabbing him like that?
Yes.
How many are there here? Starting with this one here, cutting across to the other shoulder, sort of in a triangular fashion, if you will. How many injuries do we have there?
We have 9 injuries, and they're all clustered together there in the center. What you're seeing on the upper left side is actually a post-mortem artifact. There's some skin slippage there and some
Is
drying.
that what we're talking about there?
Yes,
And this
all
one?
of this area here where your pen is.
And also right here.
Yes.
Correct. And you said that there were how many? 9?
9.
Are these stab wounds or are they incised wounds?
They are stab wounds.
So which means that they're deeper than they are longer, correct?
Yes.
How deep is the deepest one there?
They're all about the same depth. They're about an inch deep, and they're going into the back parts of the ribs and the spine, the spinal bone, and stopping there. And none of them, to my exam, none of them entered the chest cavity, although with decomposition, you can't completely rule that out.
When you say that they went up to these bones, does it mean that they stopped there, or did the knife blade continue past the bone? Do we know that, or does decomposition affect that?
They appear to all have been stopped by the bones.
And that does speak a little bit to the pressure that's being applied to them, right? That they didn't go to the bone, right?
It depends on the force of the assailant and also the type of weapon that's used.
And if you know, maybe you do, maybe you don't, you know approximately how much force there was that was applied there, or not?
I couldn't say. It would depend on the thickness of his bones as well, so there are a lot of variables.
But needless, they didn't go through the bone, right?
Correct.
This area here, which is his buttock area, correct?
Yes.
What's going on there? It just looks like it's a little bit red. Could you tell us what's going on there?
That's lividity. So this person was found in a semi-seated position, and the blood is settled to that part. So when when the heart stops beating, the blood will settle to wherever gravity will guide it. And so in this case, since he's in
Bye,
a semi-seated
Josh.
position,
Have a
it's
great
in the
day.
area, and that's why it's kind of got this reddish color.
Thanks for stopping by.
The decomposition process, is that
I'll
include
be around
inside
tomorrow.
The body being formed and then expelled, is that part of the decomposition process?
Yes.
Hopefully
For
a little
example,
bit
in this case,
earlier.
If we do a wound here to the neck, would it be consistent with the decomposition process to have the gases sort of be expelled through that area such that liquid or fluid maybe come out with the gases? Is that something that happens?
Yes, that's usual.
Let's take a look at 194, and I want to look at the right foot. Do you see that right there? That area there, and perhaps this area here. Are those bruises, or is that just maybe blood or discoloration?
It's discoloration and also mummification of the sole of the foot, extending up on the side of the foot.
And the left foot, you see that right there? I'm going to move it up. The knee area, you see that? And is that the one that we talked about that was probably post-mortem, or is that a different?
That was on the other side, but again, that has the same sort of appearance. It's not the best view, but it looks like it dried almost like a parchment-like appearance, and that's something that we see with after death.
And the left foot has the abrasion, I think you called it.
There's a contusion on the ankle area.
Oh,
and
good to
also
know.
a braided area of laceration on the Achilles tendon.
Let's look at exhibit 193 again, and we talked about this grouping. And we see the head and the neck. Let's take a closer look at that. And exhibit 195. What are we looking at there?
This is after I've inspected the back of the head, I've shaved some of the hair away to better show the injuries. And what you have here are deep incised wounds, so they're longer than they are deep, but they are very deep. They're going all the way to the skull, and there's 2 of them on the back of the skull.
Given the way you described it, and it may have been something that I was reading into it, but it appears that the way you described it, there was some force that was applied to these particular wounds to get to where they got.
Well, if you have a very sharp blade, it actually wouldn't take very much force at all to cut the tissue very deeply. All it is just connective tissue that forms the scalp. Now to go through the bone, that would be a lot more force that would be needed.
And this one right here, how long is that one?
I have it as 2 inches on the autopsy report.
And what above it?
2 inches as well.
The fact that the hair is there, does that affect the strength needed to get into or get this sort of injury, or is that just something that the hair really is not something that you deal with or think about?
This hair is very short. I mean, if he had longer, bushier hair, it might cushion the head somewhat to protect the head, but in this case, he's got short hair, so I don't think it played a role.
Taking a look at exhibit 198, what are we looking at there?
What you actually see here are the edges, and it's only one portion of those incised ones we saw. There was some force applied that was sufficient to cause a divot in the skull bone. So this is actually after the scalp has been reflected away from the skull. And what you're seeing here is actually a divot in the center of the skull, and then over on the left side, you see another one, and there's hemorrhage around those. So the bone was actually sort of chipped away by the end of the implement there.
If we take a look at exhibit 199, what are we looking at there?
This to me is the tip of an implement, probably the tip of a knife or something similar, because it has this very triangular profile. This is the bone, and the piece of bone has actually been chipped away by the end of the object.
If we go back to exhibit number 195, what this divot in exhibit 199, where was it as it applies to these two?
Right. There's one at the extreme left end of the longer wound at the bottom,
Right here?
and then one towards the middle of the top one.
Right here?
Yes.
So we're looking at there, and we're looking at there. When we look at exhibit number 198, you're looking at here and here.
Yes.
Exhibit 196, we'll focus on the area that's down here to the bottom. And also to the front, if you will, of the head. Take a look at exhibit 197. In terms of these 2 injuries that we saw back there, where's this one now?
This one's actually towards the front of the head. So you're looking at the top of the head near the hairline on the forehead. At the very bottom, you'll see Mr. Alexander's eyebrow, his left eyebrow. So this is a small incised wound at the forehead near the hairline.
And any of these wounds that we've been talking about, the ones with the sharp instrument, are they any of those after death, or are they all pre-death?
I think they're all pre-death. They all have bleeding associated with them.
Let's take a look at exhibits 200 and 201. What are we looking at there?
The right side of Mr. Alexander's neck behind the ear.
And these are also taken at the time of the ear examination.
Yes.
Move to the addition of exhibits 200 and 201.
200 and 201 are admitted.
Of all these injuries that we've taken a look at so far, how many of those have been the type that would have been fatal? Of all the ones that we've looked at so far, head, back, and then over the front.
Taken together, all the wounds of the back and the head could have been fatal from bleeding over time. The most significant wounds are going to be the neck wound, which we haven't talked about yet, the stab wound that penetrates the heart, the vein leading into the heart, and also the gunshot wound, which we also haven't discussed.
Let's take a look at exhibit 200. And what are we looking at here?
This is another stab wound of the back part of the skull behind the ear. So there's bone underneath there. It goes down into that bony area and also goes into the muscle, strap muscle that is on the side of the head below the ear.
And we're looking at 201. How big is that one?
1 1/4 inch.
Exhibit number 202. What are we looking at there?
That is the back opposite side of the neck and the left side of the neck, and that's another stab wound.
Move to the addition of exhibit 202.
Exhibit 2 is admitted.
have to grab a drink. I'll be right back.
What do we see here?
That's another stab wound to the back left side of the neck, and that also penetrates into muscle on the back of the neck.
And how long is that one?
1 inch.
Take a look at exhibits 203 through 206. And what do they portray?
The largest wound of the neck across the throat.
What are the divisions of exhibits 203 through 206?
No objection.
Exhibits 203 through 206 are admitted.
So when we're looking at these kinds of wounds like wounds in the neck, are you able to tell, for example, if it started on the left side or the right side? Do you know by looking at these where the wound may have started or not?
I'm not able to say.
Take a look at 203. What are we looking at? What are we looking at here?
It's a side view of the neck wound, and it's probably one of the better views to show how deep it goes.
And how deep is this wound? What is it that was cut as this knife came through there?
They refer to my autopsy report. It passes through the airway, so the windpipe is cut through.
Let me stop you there. When it passes through the airway, does this individual, as it's going through there, lose the ability to scream at that point or not?
It's below the larynx, below the voice box, so yes.
And if this person, well, this person's alive at this point, according to you, right? He was
Yes.
still alive at the time.
Yes.
This was inflicted. Where would the blood start coming out as a result of this wound here?
Well, right next to the windpipe are the major vessels of the neck. So you've got the carotid artery, you've got the jugular vein, and on the right side, not the left, but on the right
Let's
side.
take a look at exhibit number 204. That's the right side, correct?
Yes. You're not gonna be able to see it in this picture to any great advantage, but my examination did show that the jugular vein and the carotid artery on the right side are both cut.
And looking at this, how deep is this wound that we have here?
It goes all the way back to the spine, so it's 3 inches, 4 inches.
And if a person were to have the spine cut off, is that where the feeling stops and they don't feel anything? Or
Yeah, it doesn't go through the spinal cord, so it doesn't penetrate that bone. So it's actually the soft tissue and structure to the front of the neck, and it stops at the bone.
exhibit 205, what are we looking at here?
And this is a front view of the same wound.
In looking at this, do you see how it's my term scalloped?
Yes, there's some irregularity, and a lot of that is due to the drying of the wound that's happened after death. If you inspect the edge of the wound, it is actually a cleanly incised wound, and it's retracted a bit and gotten a bit larger after death because the tissue has dried and retracted away.
Are you familiar with the term hesitation marks?
Yes.
Are there, and what are hesitation marks?
Very occasionally, we'll get suicides like this. We'll get people that cut their own throat, and it's very unusual for them to just cut their throat. They will do shallow cuts, and they'll sort of do test cuts, and then they'll do a deep cut. So we call those little smaller cuts hesitation marks, and we don't see anything like that here.
Exhibit 206, what are you doing here?
I'm trying to show the profile of the wound a bit better. I'll put the wound together so we have sort of an idea of what the wound looked like before it's separated.
And see this right here? Is that an indication of where it started, or you can't tell where it started?
I can't say whether it started on the right or the left, but it's across the neck.
Once this was inflicted, what kind of wound is this? We talked about the one that's in the chest, and you said, well, that's not immediately fatal, and the person would be conscious. Once this was inflicted on Mr. Alexander, is this something that's, number one, rapidly fatal, and number two, what about lapsing into unconsciousness? If you could talk to us about those two aspects.
Well, he has two major vessels in his throat that have been cut. He's going to lose a great deal of blood very quickly. He's going to lose consciousness within seconds likely, and then die a few minutes later.
So if an individual receives this wound, would he be able to get up and walk, let's say, 12 feet 6 inches somewhere?
Yes, he could get up and walk a couple of feet. That's possible. He could move. Yes.
And then he would
Collapse.
And in terms of unconsciousness, so how much time are we talking about?
A few seconds, probably.
And death, how long would it take for this person to die if this was the only injury?
If this was the only injury, again, probably a few minutes.
In this case, though, you've seen that there were other injuries, and you also alluded to the fact that there was a gunshot wound, right?
Yes.
Take a look at the exhibits. 207 and
We
210.
got Riley.
And what do those deal with?
They show the gunshot wound of Mr. Alexander's right forehead.
And we also have the bullet. Did you recover it?
Yes.
Say hello.
Move for the admission of exhibits numbers 207 through 210.
Just lay down, old man.
Exhibits 207 through 210 are admitted.
Exhibit 207. What is this right here?
That's a gunshot entrance wound.
And what's the trajectory of this gunshot wound?
It passes down through the skull, passes through the face and downward and to the left, and terminates in the left cheek.
In looking at this, are you able to tell or give us a determination as to the distance between the muzzle and his temple?
I'm not. I called it an indeterminate range. I don't have sitting, I don't have stippling, any of the indicators of a range of fire here.
So we really can't tell how far away.
That's right.
And 208 just shows us that same injury with the ruler next to it, right?
Yes.
Exhibit 209, what do we see there?
That is the left cheek, and I've made an incision and removed the bullet here.
This bullet and the trajectory that you described, did it affect the brain at all? In other words, did it strike the brain or not?
It must have. It passed through the front right portion of the skull. The problem in this case is that the brain is decomposed, and the brain is a very soft structure to begin with, so it falls apart very rapidly after death. So I was not able to see a track through the brain, but just because the bullet passes through the front part of the skull where the brain normally would be, I have to conclude the brain was perforated.
And if the brain is perforated, what would happen to this individual once he was shot?
He'd be incapacitated.
What that?
Yes.
Immediately.
Rapidly, yes.
Exhibit 210 is what?
That's the bullet after recovery.
Let me show you exhibit 244. If you want, probably open.
Do I need to view it, or you prefer that I did?
Yeah, let me go ahead and do scissors.
This is the evidence canister, which will be containing that projectile that was recovered, and those are my initials.
All right, if you don't mind taking it back. I look at the initial of exhibit 244.
244 is admitted.
So how did Mr. Alexander die? What was the mechanism of death? In other words,
Riley. Okay.
Primarily blood loss.
Sorry.
and tell me how that works on the body in terms of the blood loss and what that does to the individual as he dies.
Well, after you lose blood, you lose the ability to provide oxygen to your major organs, including your brain and your heart. In this case, the first thing that would happen would be dizziness, followed by loss of consciousness, and then death.
In this particular case, you've indicated that there are three specific injuries that could have led to death. We talked about the stab wound in the chest, we talked about slitting of the throat, and then we talked about the shot to the head. With regard to the shot to the head, would that have been rapidly fatal?
Likely would have been, yes.
And by rapidly fatal, what are we talking about?
Well, if you have a projectile going through the front part of the brain, the person may not die immediately, but they'll probably lose the ability to function. They'll lose consciousness and laying on the floor.
Short, in short, very short order.
Yes.
Shot, they go down.
Yes.
How about the slashing to the throat in terms of whether or not it's rapidly fatal?
I think by far it's the most significant injury. And
And why do you say that?
well, it's just the most hemorrhagic injury. It's the one that I can demonstrate the most significant injury to the structures that are going to cause death, the carotid artery, the windpipe, and the jugular vein.
And then the one to the heart, is that, I think we've talked about it, but in terms of rapidly fatal, less fatal, which of these, if we're going to apply that standard as to which is the most fatal, how about the one to the chest? Is that the most fatal or the least fatal? Which may not be.
Probably the middle. It's a significant injury. It would definitely cause death without medical attention.
And would that cause unconsciousness immediately?
Yes. Oh, not immediately. Not the chest one. No.
And what I hear you say, of the three that we've talked about, two of them, the one to the neck and the one to the gunshot to the head, those appear, from what I hear you saying, that those would cause unconsciousness quickly,
Immediate.
immediately.
Yes.
And the one to the chest would not.
Less likely.
So if that's the scenario, and in this case, we have the defensive wounds to the hands, what does that tell you about the sequencing of these three injuries?
I believe the wounds to the hands must have occurred before the fatal injuries, either of the head or of the throat.
And so what you're saying is that at some point during the stabbing, but before the slashing of the throat and before the gunshot to the head, this individual grabbed the knife,
Or attempted to.
or the knife was applied.
Objection leading.
Rephrase.
Tell me about the sequencing of events as it applies to the two injuries, one to the head and the slitting of the throat, and when this individual may have grabbed the knife, or the knife was applied to his hands.
With the throat wound and the head wound, I don't think this person could have had a purposeful activity, meaning I don't think they could have raised their arms and attempted to defend themselves. With the chest wound, that's possible because he would not have been immediately unconscious.
In terms then between the other two, so that would mean then that it appears that, in your opinion, the first wound would have been the one to the chest.
Objection leading.
What?
Which one would have been first in your opinion?
Well, the stab wound could have occurred, and then the defensive injuries could have happened after the wound to the chest occurred.
Correct, okay. And then in terms of the sequence of the injuries involving the three major ones that we talked about, what is your opinion?
Well, the throat injuries and or the head wound are going to be immediately incapacitating, and he's not going to attempt to defend himself after that.
Okay, in terms of the shot to the head, do you have any opinion as to whether or not he was alive at the time that that shot was struck?
I can't say.
Do you have an opinion as to the wound to the neck, whether or not he was alive at the time that that was rendered, if you will?
I believe he was. There's a great deal of hemorrhage associated with that.
And was he alive with regard to the one to the chest that we've been talking about?
Yes, I believe he was.
Can you tell with regard to the gunshot wound to the right temple whether or not he was alive or not at that point?
Again, there's a wound going through the head, and I don't see hemorrhage in the brain. I can't see a wound track through the brain, so all I know is that there's a bullet going through the brain, so I can't say with certainty.
And if you don't see hemorrhaging or bleeding, as you talked about, is that an indication that the person was already dead?
It may have been, yes.
I don't have any other questions. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take the afternoon recess. Please be back in the designated area at 10 minutes after 3, and we will start promptly at that time. Please remember the admonition. You are excused. Please be seated. The record will show the presence of the jury, the defendant, and all counsel. Ms. Wilmot, you may cross-examine.
Good afternoon, Dr. Horn.
Good afternoon.
Okay. So you're obviously the doctor that performed the autopsy on Mr. Alexander, right?
Yes.
And were you the only doctor that did that?
Yes.
And present during the autopsy was Detective Flores, right?
I have again from my autopsy report, Detective Arias and Detective Flores were present.
And that's Detective Flores here sitting at the prosecution table?
Yes.
Okay. And when they're present, that means they are able to watch what you're doing?
Yes.
And if they had a question, they can always ask you?
Yes.
And if you had, they're there to collect evidence too, right?
Yes.
And if you had something or you noted something, you can certainly tell the detectives, right?
Yes.
And there was no issues. I was free to ask questions if he had any.
Yes.
After the autopsy, he would have been free, Detective Arias or Detective Flores would have been free to call you if they had follow-up questions, right?
Yes.
I mean, in other words, you don't just do this autopsy and then forget about it.
That's right.
Okay. And so, and you certainly would take Detective Flores' calls if he called you.
Yes, I would.
And in fact, at some point, you did speak to Detective Flores later, didn't you?
I may have. I don't recall.
Is this her first
What
time
we call a case agent. Are you familiar with that term?
Yes.
And
questioning?
that means that he is like the point person for the investigation, right?
I believe so.
As far as the police agency, if you had needed to say anything, it would be Detective Flores or the case agent that you would say it to.
Right. Or if I needed further information, I would contact that detective. Yes.
Okay. And he was always open to you, as far as you know, right?
As far as I know.
Now, during this autopsy, you learned that I think you said that Mr. Alexander was 5 foot 9 inches.
Yes.
And at the time of the autopsy, the weight was 189.
Yes.
And if you need to refer your report, just let me know.
Thank
you. the 189 pounds, I believe that would be during the autopsy. So more likely in life, he weighed more than that. Is that right?
Yes.
Do you have any type of an opinion about how much more he would typically weigh?
I would go by his driver's license or recollection of the thing, and I don't have that information.
Okay. But we do know that at the point of an autopsy, especially when somebody's lost blood, they're going to weigh less than what they did in life.
Yes.
I want to talk to you a little bit about the gunshot wound, okay?
Yes.
All right. Now, we looked at the pictures, and from the pictures, it looks as though the gunshot goes in, there's an entry. Well, you're familiar with an entry wound, what that means, right?
Yes.
And an exit wound?
Yes. There is no exit wound in this case.
Okay, and an exit wound is when a projectile is leaving the body.
Yes.
Okay, so there's an entry wound right above his right brow, is that right?
Yes.
And just in the middle of his brow, just above it.
It's
actually.
above. Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
And you said there's no exit wound.
No exit wound.
So that means that during the autopsy, you recovered the projectile in his left cheek, right?
Yes.
Or corrected. And it was in, we know that the trajectory, which is the pathway of the bullet, right?
It's the direction.
The direction. So we know that the direction of the bullet, based on where it went in and where it lodged, we know that it was coming in from the left and going down.
Coming in from the right and going down and ending up on the left side.
I'm sorry, heading left.
Heading left.
Okay.
Yes.
Coming in from the right-hand side, heading in the direction of left, and then lodging in the left cheek.
Yes.
Okay. And it was coming in a downward position, right?
It may have been deflected by the bone since it's passing through the skull. So its position in the cheek may not be the actual trajectory at the beginning of its path.
Okay. So, and you know, I would assume from being a doctor, I've always heard that head wounds bleed. The scalp is something that bleeds a lot. Is that true?
Yes, scalp wounds do bleed.
Okay, so a head wound, a bullet entry wound on above and the scalp, just above, or not the scalp, but just above the forehead, is that something that's going to have a lot of blood associated with it typically?
In a living person, yes.
Okay, and so if this bullet wound is made while Mr. Alexander's living, there's going to be blood coming out of it, right?
Yes.
And it would be, of course, in the pictures, we just see a small little hole, but when it actually happened, if Mr. Alexander was living, there would have been quite a bit of blood coming from there.
Generally, yes. Depends on what other wounds have happened. So if the throat's already been cut and he's already been bleeding from that wound, there might be considerably less blood from that wound.
Okay, assuming though that Mr. Alexander was alive at the time that the gunshot wound is done, so that the heart is still pumping. In that situation, you agree, right, that there would be lots of blood coming from the gunshot wound?
In that abstract sense, yes.
Okay. And then the left cheek, the projectile lodging in the left cheek, that's something that would typically cause bleeding, wouldn't it?
Wherever it is along its path, it's going to cause bleeding along the path. So yes, there'd be bleeding into the cheek, there'd be bleeding into the forehead and into the skull intervening.
Okay, and in the cheek where you were able to recover the projectile, that would be something that, had Mr. Alexander been alive, that blood would be going from his cheek and probably into his mouth, wouldn't it?
I don't have the evidence that it passed through his mouth. So if it's actually going through, and when I say cheek, I mean, I do mean this bone up here, the maxilla, which is really not connected to the oral cavity except by the sinus. So I'm not saying it went through his oral cavity.
Okay, so you're talking about it being lodged in the cheekbone?
Cheekbone or beyond the cheekbone, up here in the soft tissue above where the mouth is.
Okay, and you said that's connected to the mouth through the sinus?
Right, there's a
cavity?
maxillary sinus, right.
All right, so if there was bleeding associated with that, then would we expect to see blood into the sinus or through the nose and then eventually into the mouth?
It's likely, yes.
All right, and you talked about the pathway. Well, let me ask you this. You talked a little bit on direct about not knowing the distance from the muzzle of the gun to Mr. Alexander.
Yes.
So when you're talking about that, you're really talking about things like stippling, right?
Stippling or soot
Soot.
that deposits on the skin, right.
Okay, can you tell us what stippling is?
Stippling is sometimes at the end of a firearm, if a person's close enough when they're being shot, you'll have little pieces of burning gunpowder that will come out of the end of the gun and will embed themselves in the skin. And so you'll get these little tiny dots, little stipple marks around the wound. And when we see that, we usually say that's an intermediate range of fire. It depends on the type of firearm you're using, but it may be a couple of feet away or maybe up to a yard away, depending on what gun is used.
Okay, so when you see stippling, that tells you it's that the muzzle of the gun was probably within 2 to 3 feet away from the person?
Depending on the gun. So some can be considerably further away, some can be closer than that and leave stippling. So what you have to do is actually get the gun and test fire it.
Okay. Now, when you talk about stippling and it leaving marks, those are actual burn marks, aren't they?
They're abrasions, and there may be some burn to that, but most of the time it's an abrasion and it's a piece of gunpowder that's embedding itself in the skin.
Okay, and those abrasions, they're not just going to go away if somebody were to pour water over it, right?
No, they're embedded in the skin.
So we know that Mr. Alexander's body was found in the shower and that it appeared that there was water at some point put over his body. That's not going to get rid of any stippling, right?
It may wash out some of the gunpowder fragments, but the marks, the stipple marks would still be there generally.
All right, and you're confident that you would be able to know that, right? in your experience?
Well, with decomposition, it may be less apparent, but in looking at him and looking at his face, I didn't see any stippling marks.
All right. And so based on the fact that there's no stippling marks, you can say, I know you talk about an indeterminate range of fire, right?
Yes,
And that means, what does that mean to you?
that means I couldn't determine a range of fire
Okay.
based on the autopsy alone.
But because there's no stippling, doesn't it also mean that we know that the gun certainly wasn't next to his forehead?
I don't think it's a contact wound. A contact wound will usually leave like a star-shaped tear, and I don't see that here. If it's not right up against the skin, but if it's very close, you usually see soot and not stippling. I don't see soot. I don't see a star-shaped tear, and I don't see stippling. So that, for me, takes it out beyond the range of an intermediate. So it's either a distant range or indeterminate. An indeterminate range of fire could be that there's some object in between the face and the gun. So if there's a garment, a towel, something like that, that can also cause you to be unable to determine a range of fire.
All right. And so you know that we're talking at least 2 to 3 feet away, if not more, because of the no stippling.
That's likely.
I want to talk to you a little about the wounds on the back, okay? All in all, on the back, there was 9 wounds. Is that correct? I'm sorry, in the upper back. Let me be more specific.
Yes, a cluster of 9 stab wounds on the upper back.
And I think that's what you call the grouping?
Yes.
And they're in between his shoulders. Is that right?
Yes,
And these wounds you consider very shallow. Is that right?
they are shallow. Yes.
And I'm going to show you what's in evidence of 193. All right, that's 193, and that's a picture of the wounds in between the shoulders, the grouping on the back, right?
Yes.
All right, and you see that there's a center. There's these in the center, right?
Yes.
This group, and then there's 3 here to his right shoulder, more towards his right shoulder.
Yes.
Now the group in the center, those actually are more of a straight on direction, aren't they?
They appear to be straight. Yes. There's about equal amount of tissue on either side.
All right, so in other words, those are not the ones that are the grouping in the center. Those are not a diagonal, as far as you can tell, diagonal incoming.
Well, I think we got off on a sidetrack on direct that the directionality, like the way that they're oriented, isn't a diagonal, but the track itself going into the tissue is pretty much straight on.
Okay, so when you talk about direction of diagonal, you're talking about that the wound
The
is
wound itself is diagonal.
vertical, up and down.
Right.
And so directionality, when we talk about directionality, we're talking about where the instrument might have been coming from.
Yes. In terms of a trajectory.
Yes, okay. So in terms of the trajectory, we're looking at the center and the back, and those look like the instrument would have been coming more of a straight on. Is that
More
right?
straight on from back to front. Yes.
And the grouping on the right, we can see those look more like they are going at a diagonal. The trajectory would be diagonal.
Right. If you look at the tissue on the side, you can see that whitish tissue in the margin, and you're seeing fatty tissue that is being sort of shaved as the knife is going in. So when I look at these 3 wounds here, it looks like the knife is actually going in from a little bit from right to left and into the back.
Okay, so from right to left. So going in from his right shoulder, heading towards his middle. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And you already talked about these wounds being shallow. When you see shallow wounds, that would typically mean that there's less force applied, right?
Well, it depends on what the object is that's being penetrated. In this case, there's lots of bone underneath these. So whatever force was applied was insufficient to break through a rib or break through into the spine.
Okay, well, if you assume that the same instrument is used for all these different wounds, we know that some of these wounds are deeper than others, right?
Yes.
And for example, the wound that penetrates into and perforates the vena cava, that one.
Yeah.
Thanks
Right, so
for
that's the vein that we-
sticking around,
That one would be-
Lefty. I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully.
So typically, and that had to go through cartilage also.
Yes.
And so that one would require more force, wouldn't it?
More than just going through soft tissue or fat. Yes.
Okay. And in these instances, the wounds on the back, those ones, you didn't see any chipping of the bone or anything like that.
No.
And you'd agree, wouldn't you, that if somebody were standing and if the 2 people were standing facing each other and the person with the knife is reaching over the back, that's going to have less force to it, wouldn't it, than somebody who's standing behind and being able to drive the knife right in without stop?
Generally, I'd agree with that. Yes.
Sounds good.
All right, so the wound to the one that we were just talking about to the vena cava. In the pictures we saw that there's it was basically in the middle of below his chest, right?
Lower right chest. Yes.
And that one you said would eventually be fatal without medical attention.
Yes.
And that's due to blood loss?
Yes.
That wound, you were able to tell a direction or a trajectory on that wound, right?
Yes. It's pretty much straight into the chest cavity. It's on the right side of the chest.
Okay, doesn't it have a slightly upward trajectory?
If it is, it's very slight because the heart is right. The vena cava is right in that location where the wound is.
Well, doesn't it have, and I don't know, let me know if you need to see a picture, but doesn't it have an undetermined lower edge so that it's going to be a slightly upper trajectory as it's going in?
Undetermined. I don't know.
Lower edge?
I don't know what you mean by undetermined lower edge.
Okay.
Undermined?
Undermined, I'm sorry.
Undermined. Yes. Well, that would indicate that the blade is angled slightly upward as it's going into the skin. So if you see more tissue on the lower part than the upper part, then that's consistent with that. But we also have to keep in mind this is a decomposed person. So the characters of the wounds can change a bit.
Okay, but based on what you saw, you would say that based on what you were just talking about, the undermined edge,
Undermined.
based on that, you can tell us that more than likely it was going in an upper trajectory, right?
Generally, that's true. Yes.
Okay, and that means it's going from down to up.
Yes,
We
as the
have
tip of the wound, as the tip of the weapon is going in the body, it has a slightly upward trend to it, yes.
Okay, and that can happen when somebody is taller than the person who has the knife, right? You have to reach up.
In a general way, yes, that's true.
And you said that one, but that one is mostly straight in as far as, in other words, it's not diagonal coming from the right or the left. Is that correct?
The vena cava is slightly on the right side of the body, right side of the chest, so it's right underneath where the stab wound goes in. So it's essentially straight in, maybe with a slightly upward trajectory.
Just may I approach? Yes. Dr. Moreno, you haven't seen that photo prior to today, is that
Never
right?
mind.
No, I haven't.
Okay. In that photo, can you see a person's head
I think so.
and a shoulder
Yes.
and what appears to be an arm?
Yes.
And then at the very back portion of the picture, and you can tell it's a distance because it's small, is a foot, right?
Could be a foot. Yes.
All right. I'm going to ask you to assume that that picture is of Mr. Alexander, okay?
Okay.
And Judge, I was going to ask to publish to the jury for demonstrative purposes.
The exhibit number for the record.
192?
162.
162.
And Judge, ever move it into evidence, 162.
Any objection?
No objection.
162 is admitted and may be published.
Okay, so what we were talking about is here you can see what appears to be a head, right?
Yes.
All right, and this appears to be an arm.
I think so, yes.
Okay, and then this would be somebody's shoulder.
Yes.
And then the very distant part of the picture, you can see what appears to be a foot.
Yes.
So in this picture, it would appear to be somebody lying down almost on the floor, right? It appears that the person is lying
I
down.
think if this is tile here.
I didn't see any of those things.
And you can see what would appear to be blood, right?
Yes.
Something that's dripping over his shoulder.
Yes.
And that would be the person's right shoulder, wouldn't it?
Yes.
And also in this picture, the arm is up, isn't it?
It looks like it's flexed up, yes.
Okay, so in other words, it's not just laying limp on the floor, right?
Right.
Okay. And the head is also up, right?
Yes, except that I don't know what this blue object is, if it's something that the head's resting against or what this is in the foreground.
Does this appear to be like a foot and then a pant leg?
Could be.
But from what you can tell from the shoulder is definitely off the ground, isn't it?
I think so.
Okay. And assume for a second if this is Mr. Alexander, once the wound to the neck occurs, having his head up and his arm up, certainly his head up, that would be near impossible, wouldn't it?
Well, like I said, he's going to have a few seconds of consciousness, and certainly enough if he's laying on the ground to raise an arm or raise a head, that wouldn't be beyond the realm of possibility.
But unlikely, isn't it?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that, no. I wouldn't think he'd be getting up and walking around, but picking your head up or moving your arm is not impossible.
Okay. And you can see the blood coming over the shoulder, right?
Yes.
And if there was a neck wound at this point, wouldn't you expect to see quite a bit more blood than that?
I don't see what's underneath him. That seems to be a lot of blood to me, but I have no way of quantifying or telling how much is here, just based on this photo.
Okay. But we do know that the blood is on the right-hand side, right?
Yes.
And we can tell that, at least from the picture, it looks like the blood is dripping down the back. In other words, it's like a drip, isn't it?
Right. There's a large area of blood going back, and there's some dripping on either side of that large area of blood.
Okay. And we do know for sure that the gunshot wound was to his right side, wasn't it?
What is
Yes.
this accomplishing?
I want to talk to you a little bit more about the gunshot wound. Let's see. We know with the gunshot wound, obviously you discuss it in your examination report, right?
Yes.
And you talk about the track of the bullet begins in the frontal skull, is that right?
Yes.
And when you refer to the frontal skull, you're referring to a bone.
Yes, the frontal bone of the skull.
And we know that it ends in the facial skeleton near the left cheek.
Yes.
And again, as you told me earlier, the facial skeleton, you're referring to a bone.
Right. The maxillary bone.
All right. Now in your report, and let me just ask you, you did this report, actually you did the autopsy on June 12th of 2008, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So on June 12th of 2008, after doing your report, you found that there was no gross evidence of significant intracranial hemorrhage, is that right? And I'm looking
Yes.
at page 4.
Yes, page 4 of my report.
Okay. And when you talk about significant intracranial hemorrhage, you're talking about bleeding through the brain, is that right?
Right. At this point, the brain is really non-existent. It's almost you can't examine it. It's become liquid.
You can't examine it at all?
It's very difficult.
Okay, well, but didn't you actually take slices of the brain? And I'm referring to page 7.
Yes. So it is softened. It's not liquefied. It is still present, but it's soft.
All right, so you were able, it's still there, right?
Yes, it's always there. It's just the state that it's in.
Okay, so the state that it was in, though, is that you were able to actually take what's called multiple serial sections of autolyzed brain.
Right. So the autolysis or autolyzed, that's a term that refers to a liquefied brain tissue or very softened brain tissue.
Okay, and when you talk about multiple serial sections, does that mean that you're taking slices of the brain to look through it?
As best I can, I'm running a knife through the brain and trying to examine it. So
Okay.
that may be actual sections or may just be in terms of trying to inspect the internal parts of that tissue, whatever's there.
Okay, but according to your report, that's what you did, right?
Right.
And in there, so So in this part of your report, after going through these sections, again, you say it does not reveal the presence of grossly apparent trauma. Is that right?
Right.
So by taking through these sections, again, you don't find any evidence of trauma or like a bullet track through the brain.
Nothing so clearly defined. No hemorrhage, no foreign bodies, no metal fragments. Right.
And we know that people who have had injuries to their brains, depending on the section of the brain, they're not always incapacitated. Isn't that true?
For the most part, if you have a bullet pass through the brain, you're not going to be standing, you're not going to be functional, you're going to fall. And like I said earlier in direct, it may not be immediately fatal. In fact, it likely wasn't passing through the frontal part of the brain, especially. It's not as vital. I mean, they're all vital structures, but it's not as vital as the brainstem or the back parts of the brain.
Well, just so we're clear, you don't actually have any medical evidence of it passing through the brain, right?
It had to have passed through the brain.
You don't have any medical evidence of that, do you?
I do. The skull is perforated where the brain is, so it had to have passed through the brain. The brain is there.
But you have no idea. You have no medical evidence of how far or what part of the brain it exactly would have hit, right?
It would have passed through the right frontal lobe.
Uh-huh.
I just don't have any evidence of hemorrhage now because of the but it had to have passed through the brain because of the part of the skull that was injured. The brain in a young person especially is flush against that structure. The brain occupies the entire skull. So to have a hole in the skull here and an exit in here, it has to pass through the brain.
Well, the exit's there's no exit. What do
The
you
exit from the skull cavity into the face.
So, but what you're saying though is you have no idea where that bullet might have hit. It could have just grazed the tip of the brain, right?
No, it had to have passed through the right frontal lobe of the brain based on where these holes in the skull are.
And
There's no way it could have avoided the brain.
Okay, and you're sure of that?
Yes.
What I was talking about earlier was that with brain injuries, I mean, we've all heard the stories of people, the person who had the arrow stuck through, went through his skull and hit his brain, or the person who had I don't know if it was an arrow or what, but actually goes through the brain, and these people are coming to the ER.
Right.
You've heard those stories, right?
Those are different.
But those are people who've had brain injuries, right?
Not with projectiles.
Okay.
With firearms, you don't just have an arrow or an object passing through the head. With a firearm, you also have gas and you have an expansile cavity that damages the brain as it goes through it. So you can shoot an arrow through the brain. It's a much lower velocity projectile and will not cause a large temporary cavity to open up in the brain tissue like a projectile would, like a firearm projectile would.
So those don't cause as much damage as a bullet does.
That's right. That's right.
But you didn't see any damage, even in your slices, right?
Right. I could not document the damage because of the decomposition.
Now, your findings during the autopsy, that would be something that you would explain to Detective Flores, right?
Preliminarily, yes.
Okay. And he's going to get a copy of it?
A copy of my final report?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. And like you said before, he's free to call you with questions if he doesn't know what you mean by something.
Yes.
And do you remember speaking to Detective Flores about close to a year later after the autopsy?
No.
Do you remember speaking to Detective Flores ever again?
No.
Do you think you didn't? Or do you just not remember?
I don't recall. No.
Do you have any memory of ever speaking to Detective Flores about this particular autopsy after June 12th?
No.
So then any information that Detective Flores would have gotten from you would have been from June 12th of 2008, is that right?
I have no idea.
Well, and you spoke to him on June 12th, right?
I assume so. It's listed as presence on my report, but I don't remember him being there.
Okay. And you said you've done 6,000 or so autopsies?
Something like that.
All right. And when police are involved,
Something
police
like
have been
that.
present during your autopsies, right?
Yes.
Okay. So it makes it difficult. I'm sure they run together, do they not?
Yes.
But you know in your report that Detective Flores was there. You know that because it was documented.
Just the documentation.
40 more minutes. And then we'll start splicing up the days and
And
the
The
witnesses.
information about, let's talk about the gunshot wound first. So any information that Detective Flores had about the gunshot wound, I guess then would have come from June 12th, right? If you don't remember ever talking to him again.
Objection regulations.
Overruled, you may answer.
Sorry, can you say it again?
You're the only doctor who did this autopsy, right? And so any information that Detective Flores has about the autopsy itself would have come from you, right?
Objection speculation.
Sustained.
Any information would have come from the autopsy that you did.
Objection speculation and as to what information she's talking about.
Sustained.
You provided your report to Detective Flores, right?
Not myself personally, but my office would have mailed it to him.
Yes, it goes to the police department, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Isn't it true that at some point you told Detective Flores that you believed the first wound was the shot to the head?
I don't recall ever saying that.
Do you think you never told Detective Flores that?
I don't think that's consistent with the evidence that I have. I don't remember ever saying anything like that.
Okay, so what your testimony is, I just want to be clear, is that you never told Detective Flores that the gunshot wound was the first wound.
I don't believe I ever said that, no.
And do you remember telling Detective Flores that you knew this because the gunshot wound wouldn't have completely incapacitated somebody?
I don't recall saying that either.
Is that something that you think you would have never said to Detective Flores?
I think I said it here in court. I don't think it would have immediately incapacitated him or killed him, but it would be a serious injury. But I don't recall telling Detective Flores that, no.
Okay, so let me back up for a second. So you're saying that the gunshot wound is not immediately incapacitated?
I would say not immediately fatal.
Okay,
I
I'm not
think-
talking about fatal, I'm just talking about incapacitated.
I think, yes, I think
That's kind of surprising that they let Flores sit in on court because I thought he was being called back as a witness. I don't know. It just seems like you're just asking for fuckery. But maybe that's me.
It would be incapacitated, passing through his brain, so yes.
Okay, so, and that's assuming it passed through his
Lay
brain.
down.
You would say it's incapacitating, right?
I'm saying it did pass through his brain.
All right. And so, so then you wouldn't have told Detective Flores that
I can't let you jump,
the death
buddy.
after the gunshot wound would not have completely incapacitated someone, right? I guess you wouldn't have said that.
I don't recall having a conversation with the detective about anything.
I'm sorry, I missed the last
I don't
part.
recall having a conversation with the detective at all about this case.
So do you remember then telling Detective Flores that Mr. Alexander could have been unconscious, but then you suspect that he became conscious again?
No, I don't recall saying that.
Okay, and you suspect that he became conscious, or that you knew he was conscious because there's defensive wounds.
I think he was conscious during the defense. I don't recall telling Detective Flores that.
Okay. But if the gunshot wound comes first, and then the defensive wounds come after that, obviously he would have to be conscious for that.
I don't think that makes sense. I don't think he got the gunshot wound and then got defensive wounds. I think he would have been unconscious.
Okay, so that's something you never told Detective Flores.
Again, I don't recall ever having a conversation with him about anything.
Were they public defenders?
So if you don't recall ever having a conversation with Detective Flores, and we know that Detective Flores was at the autopsy, right?
Right.
So then can we assume then that you never spoke to him again?
It was 10 years ago. I don't remember.
It wasn't 10 years ago, it was in 2008. 4.5.
Several years ago.
Okay,
I
so you don't remember.
recall speaking to him again. No.
So then it's possible that you spoke to Detective Flores.
Sure.
And it's then possible that you might have said these things to Detective Flores.
I don't believe I would say those things. No. I don't think they're consistent with what I'm saying here.
And so I guess the one thing we can agree on is that the wound to the neck, that one was most certainly fatal, the quickest, right?
Yes, that's the most significant one in my opinion. Yes.
Okay. Just wait a minute.
You don't see a male court reporter very often. Riley, what are you doing, buddy?
Do you remember giving the opinion to your opinion to Detective Flores that the
Up, up.
cut to the throat was the last wound?
No.
And so Detective Flores would have testified in some
Oh,
hearing that that's what
You're
he
so
said.
high.
He's wrong?
Objection, not to speculation.
Sustained.
And
He's looking at me like, can we get
you remember,
Taco Bell?
I take it you have no memory of discussing the scene photographs with Detective Flores?
I don't know.
And in discussing the scene photographs with Detective Flores, telling Detective Flores that the gunshot wound would not have completely incapacitated Mr. Alexander?
Again, I've been answering this question. I do not have any recollection of that. No.
Oh my gosh. Chill out.
Sir, in terms of the sequencing of the wounds, do you remember having an interview with this individual sitting here with glasses? Do you remember having an interview with him?
Vaguely, I do remember the defense.
You were interviewed with regard to this case, right?
Yes.
And you have a copy of that interview, don't you?
I do.
And you were asked about the sequencing of these injuries, weren't you?
Yes.
Sustained.
All right. Did you talk to them about the sequencing of the injuries?
Yes.
And at any time, did you stop the interview and say, no, I don't want to talk to you about the sequencing of the injuries?
No.
And were you asked about the sequencing of the injuries?
Yes.
And what did you tell them during that interview that you had with them?
I felt that the gunshot wound may have been last, but at any event, the gunshot wounds and the wounds to the neck would have had to have come after the defensive wounds of the hands.
And is that what you told us today?
Yes.
Now, sir, with regard to the procedure or the process that takes place when a body is brought in terms of when you conduct the examination, who is in the room with you?
Forensic technicians, photographers, sometimes medical students.
Do you take the photographs?
No.
In terms of the individuals from law enforcement, you indicated that they're there via your report, right?
Yes, they're in an observation area.
But in terms of the examination room itself, is the detective there looking over your shoulder and questioning you as you conduct this examination? Is that how it's done out there?
No.
Where are they, physically speaking, the detective, when this examination is going on?
They're in an observation bay separated by glass.
And if they want to talk to you during this particular process, how does that work? In other words, if they want to provide you advice as to whether or not an injury went through the brain or not, how is it that they provide this advice to you?
They don't generally.
But if they do want to talk to you, how does it happen?
They have a handset they can pick up, and I can hear them in the autopsy area. And then I will come to the door or the window and I'll talk to them.
In
Okay.
this examination, is it your practice to
For a moment, I thought he was going to be like, we have a handset and they can like type numbers and call me on the phone. You have to admit that would not be off color for the way that these people have been talking to each other during this trial. Like, it has been very sharp toned and like rough. That's what she said.
immediately form an opinion as to which injury is first, which is second, and which is third, if there's three of them?
No.
Why not? Why would you not immediately tell them, oh, I know this one's the first one, this one's the second one, this is the third one? Why wouldn't you do it that way?
Often we can never establish that, but I do want to have an opportunity to get the whole case, get investigative reports back, get toxicology.
I have something to say. I have something to say. And since everyone is mentioning this about the bigger guy, I'm going to make sure to mention this every day about the other dude. The guy speaking right now, Juan was also disbarred. Juan was giving tips with a blogger during this trial. Real talk. And this was only discovered after he got in trouble for sexual misconduct with someone else while in his position. Once again, probably not the best word to use, but you're picking up what I'm throwing down, hopefully.
And then come to a final report.
And this report that you prepare, when is it due? In other words, how long does it take you to prepare this report with your impressions?
Varies, minimum of a month, maximum of 4 to 5 months,
In
depending.
this case, I think you conducted the autopsy, June 16th, I think?
June 12th,
June 12th? And what date is your report date?
July 15th,
And how many, so that's roughly what, a month later?
5 weeks.
And how many pages is your report?
8 pages.
And in that report, is there any place that indicates that the gunshot wound or which injury was first or last? Anywhere does it indicate that?
No.
In terms of you being asked about the sequence of events, in terms of these fatal injuries, when, according to your records, was the first time that you were asked about the sequencing of events?
According to my recollection, it would have been at the defense interview.
And before that, didn't write it in your report, right?
That's right.
And is it your practice to write the sequencing of events in your report?
No.
Why not?
It would be speculative, and I'm simply providing information about the injuries that I see.
And then once you have a chance to have all this information before you, that's when you make your determination.
Riley.
You were asked about this here, which is exhibit
Hold
number
on, guys.
62. Let me have it marked.
Riley's about to take down everything. You okay, Bubba's? Why don't you sit with Mom?
One of the things that you weren't able to see is there's a date and time associated with that, right?
Yes,
What is the date if you can see it and time?
June 4th, 2008, 5:32 in the evening,
16 seconds. right?
16 seconds.
And it does show a head, right?
Yes,
And you were asked over and over not whether this was a foot. Do you remember that?
yes.
If that were a human being's foot, would you have any problem saying that perhaps this human being had another foot if they were a normal human being?
No.
And do you have any problem saying that this individual, if he had 2 feet, would also have 2 arms?
Yes.
Well, you would know that they would, right?
Yes.
Do you know whether or not the right arm, the left arm, do you know what that right or left arm is doing?
No.
Do you know whether or not that right arm or left arm is holding what you said may have been a right arm, whether or not that's holding up that arm?
That's certainly possible.
And you don't know what, for example, the left arm is doing, do you?
That's correct.
And this part up here, I know that this is straining a little bit of credibility, and I don't know medical science, but that's the top of the head, right?
Yes.
If I'm not telling me that, right?
Yes.
And this part right here is the neck, right?
Yes.
You see any blood coming down this from the top of the head?
It's very dark. I can't say for sure whether.
But can you see any blood coming from the neck area there?
Yes.
And if you see the blood coming from the neck area and you know the injuries, and assuming this is Travis Alexander, what would you associate that blood with?
They cut to the throat.
And with regard to the injury to the chest area, if his head is up in that position and his arm is being lifted in that position, and knowing what you know about gravity, would you think that this blood was coming from the injury to his chest or the neck area?
Neck area.
So one of the things that you were asked about was the wounds to the back. Do you remember being
Yes.
asked about that? And this question may or may not be your area, but with regard to human beings, are men's arms longer than women's or not? I don't know.
Generally longer. Yes.
And with regard to a person's body, generally speaking, is a man's body upper chest, is that bigger or smaller than a woman's upper chest?
Bigger.
Bigger. And you were asked about the injuries that were to the back. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And you were asked, well, is it possible that somebody could have come around and with those injuries, given those injuries on there, that they would have come around and done this and done the injuries back there? Do you remember being asked that?
Yes.
And you said, well, possible, right?
Yes.
With regard to that particular scenario, is it also possible that an individual could be hunched over and somebody came up behind him and started inflicting those kinds of injuries? Are they consistent with that?
Yes.
And with regard to the injury to the chest, you said, well, it's slightly upward. Do you remember saying that?
Yes.
Is it possible that with regard to that injury, it could go up like this? Was that possible?
Yes.
Is there any impediment or anything in the way you're doing something like that?
No.
Do we have to wrap arms around somebody to get that injury, or can we do it just like this?
It can be from the front or back. Yes.
Is it consistent? That injury, if somebody's sitting down, male, Mr. Alexander, is it consistent if he's sitting down and somebody's standing and you come up and do that? Is that consistent with that?
Yes.
The issue of the gunshot wound. Did the gunshot wound go through the frontal lobe or not?
It did.
If it goes through the frontal lobe, what does the human body do when a gunshot goes through the frontal lobe?
Well, there's a shock delivered to the entire brain as the projectile is passing through. So it's not just like an arrow or a nail. You've also got expanding gases. You've got a tumbling projectile. So generally, you're going to have, it's a shock situation, neurologic shock, and those people are incapacitated.
And that gunshot wound that we're talking about, did it go through the mouth or not?
It goes above the mouth. It's in the sinus structure. So bleeding out of the mouth is certainly
And
possible.
it ended up in the left cheek.
Yes.
The distance of the gunshot wound, you said it was indeterminate, right?
Yes,
And that's based on the fact that you don't see any stippling there, right?
that's right.
And indeterminate to you in this case, if it's indeterminate, I know what the word means, but how far, can you give us any parameters whatsoever as to how far or how close the gunshot was?
Again, I'm not a ballistics expert, but generally speaking, for most firearms, it's going to be a minimum distance of a couple of feet at least.
I think
And
they should have
this gunshot
objected
wound,
to that.
Was there hemorrhaging that was associated with it on the path that it traveled?
In the scalp and in the cheek area, there is some hemorrhage. There is no hemorrhage detected in the skull itself.
And what does that mean to you in terms of the sequencing, whether or not the person was alive or not alive, if there's no blood there?
If there's less blood, it may mean that the other injuries preceded that, and there was just less bleeding because there was less blood to come out of the body.
Could this person have been dead at the time that the gunshot wound was inflicted?
That's possible. Yes.
And in terms of what an individual may have said or didn't say, you did indicate that, your report does indicate that Detective Flores was at the autopsy, right?
Yes.
Does it have an MD after his name? Maybe I missed that.
No.
So in terms of this individual, Detective Flores, what he may or may have said, do you have any idea where he gained his knowledge?
I don't know.
But your knowledge is based on what you saw, at the autopsy, your schooling, and anything else that was provided to you, right?
Yes.
I don't have anything else, thank you.
Does any member of the jury have a question for this
Buddy,
witness?
you can't jump.
I see no hands. You may step down. State may call its next witness.
Lay down.
You may.
He looks like he's very short and stout. I mean, I don't mean stout like he's fat, but just a little guy. Who's that? Is that her mom? Oh my God. My dog found a bag of like shredded paper that I put in packages for decoration and ripped it open, and it is everywhere. I don't even know how long it's been there. Because he just kicked up. Do you guys hear that? That was obnoxiously loud. Come on, court. We need to hurry. My dogs need to go outside. Oh, wait, guys. I wasn't going to show the next chick anyways. So we're Gucci. Let me see who we have on deck for tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow's a good day. Tomorrow we have Jodi's boyfriend. Well, other boyfriend. And a few other super interesting witnesses that were called by the state. So yeah, we're getting through the prosecution's list so that we can go right into her testimony. Oh, you like that? Gucci, ballin', tripping, just hanging and doing swag shit. It'd be me. So tomorrow I plan on being on live a bit earlier than normal because that was the plan today. And then Riley hurt himself, so I had to go to the vet with him. But he's becoming super antsy. I need to feed him and give him his pain meds. And yeah, I'm thinking like 12 o'clock Eastern. So tune in tomorrow. It's going to be great. It's definitely going to be better than today. I'm not saying that today was bad by any means, but the whole point of me utilizing Chat GPT here is so that it's just like we're only getting what we need to know and none of the filler crap that we don't need to know, and we can stay interested and engaged. So, okay. I will see you guys tomorrow and we'll go from there. Have a great night. Make wise choices. Bye.